Hey everybody, so I'm alive again. Welcome back to my garage. If you were joining on my stream last night, thanks for watching. It was a 3-hour stream and I'm setting up some fireworks. I'm going to continue that today. I was meant to be doing a firework display to school this evening. That's now been cancelled because the weather here in the UK at the moment is atrocious. It's very, very wet. It's very, very windy. So it's given me a bit more time though to work on this. So this, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, I'm doing a display, a firework display on Bonfire Night in Liverpool, little community display. Well, I say little, there's about 400 people that will turn up to it. That's what happened last year. So I'm setting up, doing as much prep as I can beforehand to make it easier for me to do on the day. T-Town Mary Ellen is here. Welcome in. Hello. Thank you for joining me. So I'm setting up these are fountain tables. Basically, the display I'm doing, there's quite limited space. So I've not got the space from the audience to the fireworks to be able to do some really big fireworks. There'll be some nice fireworks and some aerial stuff, but I do quite a lot along the front of the display, little fountains and things like that. So I've been assembling these, what I call fountain tables. There's 5 of them. They're not going to be this close together on the actual night. They're going to be about 4 or 5 meters apart. So they're going to stretch across like a 20-meter span across the front of my display. I will be filming the display and that will be on my YouTube channel a day or two after Bonfire Night on the 5th of November. So last night, yes, I started doing some prep on this. So thank you everybody for joining me. Then let's see who's here. Rusty Trumpet is here. Hello, hello. Bulletproof Mum is back. Hello. I was just catching up on what I missed, having a big sort out. You're keeping me sane. Thank you very much. What did I miss last night? I somehow ended up streaming for 3 hours, 21 minutes last night. I don't quite know where the time went. I didn't get anywhere near as much done as I wanted to, but I had a lot of fun doing it and it was great to chat with all you guys in the chat, especially people like Bulletproof Mum is here again today. So I appreciate your company this afternoon. Again, I don't know how long we're going to go for this afternoon. Maybe an hour, maybe 3 hours, who knows? Let's see how we go. So those of you who were here last night, you might know where we're up to. We did one fountain table here. We set all this up and cabled it all up. We did another one as well. Has anything changed since I ended the stream last night? Yes. I've now got a Catherine wheel on the front of here, a Catherine wheel on the front of here, and these little blocks here. So I just kind of thought, actually, it's probably easy to hammer Catherine wheels in when there's no fountains on the tops of these tables. So I'm going to put the other fountains on these 3 next. So that's the plan of action. And then we're going to assemble these other fountain tables. I've got 3 more to do. So we'll see how far we get today. So do feel free to say hello in the chat. A big welcome if you're watching on the replay. I know not everybody can watch this live because they're working or whatever, and some of you might catch up on this later. Some of you might just decide not to watch it at all, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not doing it for views. I'm doing it because, hey, otherwise I'd just be talking to myself. So it makes sense to be able to talk to some virtual people at the very least. So welcome to my garage. So Catherine wheels, yes, let me come round the front. So yes, I was humming and hawing yesterday about how's best to attach the Catherine wheels. Excuse me, I wanted to have them on the front of the plinths, but I wanted to step them out a little bit. So I made these little wooden blocks a little earlier, and I've been screwing them on and just checking they work okay. And yeah, they're going to be great. The Catherine wheels are going to spin round nicely on there. So I've got 2 on there. I need to put this 3rd one on over on this side. Just need to screw this in. So it's just a block of wood. It's about, I don't know, 1 inch thick. Let me actually measure it. Let's measure the thickness with my ruler. It is, it's about 1 3/4 inches thick, or if you work in centimeters, about 4.4, so 44 millimeters thick. Again, this has the benefit of stepping the Catherine wheel out away from these fountains, but also it gives a nice thick space for the Catherine wheel nail to go through. So another little tip, I like giving tips on my streams as well, so if you set up your own firework displays, then you're going to like these streams because I like to give out lots of handy hints and tips. What I've done on this block, and I'll come and show you, I've done it on the other blocks as well. One of the things I used to find, whenever I hammered Catherine wheels into wood, the nail would bend, it'd go in at a funny angle, and it'd be a nightmare. So what I do, I've got a little trick now, where I'm going to nail it in, I drill a very, very small pilot hole. Okay, so it's smaller than the diameter of the nail, but it means when I start hammering the nail in, it's going to go in nice and straight and not bend and go at a jaunty angle. So a little tip there for setting up Catherine wheels, drill a little pilot hole first. It's smaller than the diameter of the nail. It'll make it go in a lot easier, nice and straight without bending. So let's come around this side. T-Town Mary Ellen says, smart idea. Yeah, it's a little thing I picked up and it makes life so much easier. So let's just screw, I hope I'm still on shot here. Oh, just about. Right, I'm just going to screw this last one in. I was going to do this before the stream started and I kind of ran out of time. Managed to get the others on, but didn't get this one on. So not the most exciting thing to watch, but hey, it needs doing. So let's put this on the front here and screw this in. Do you know what? I should probably, it would make a lot more sense to move my MacBook off the top of this, wouldn't it, when I'm just really, so that it doesn't fall off. So let me move this out of the way momentarily. I should just put that there. And then we can do this without fear of the MacBook falling off. So there we go. So I've got a little wooden block on the front of each one of these plinths now. So that's good for the Catherine wheels to go in. So who else is in the chat? Veronica is in the chat. Says, hi, Great Marko, great to see you. This is awesome. Love the details. Your friends Veronica and Todd. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for joining me again. I know it wasn't that long ago that I was streaming, but I have had some sleep, I promise you. I say I wasn't planning on doing this today because I was meant to be doing a professional display at a primary school this afternoon. It's just been called off, so I thought, let's work a bit more on the prep for this display and stream and chat to you guys as well. So that's the plan of action. So you'll see I've already got 2 Catherine wheels on. I'm going to put the other Catherine wheels on now. It's easier to do that before I put the fountains on. And really, in hindsight, I probably should have done this first yesterday before I started putting fountains on. But hey ho. So I'm using, these are Celtic Fireworks Super Spinners. They're nice and cheap, they're inexpensive, but there's 6 motors on there, so they're pretty good. And they come, all Catherine wheels when you buy them come with a nail attached. You sometimes have to locate them, but this one's here. So I'm going to take that one out like that. Always make sure you get the Catherine wheel the right way round. It usually says which is the front. If not, you can always tell because there's kind of like a raised bit. The raised bit goes to the back because obviously if you do it the other way around, this could scratch against your post. So this little plastic bit effectively steps it out from the post. So we'll put the nail through here. Let's do this one here. Let's get my little hammer. So yeah, I drilled a very small pilot hole. So it's smaller than the diameter of the nail. So the nail's not going to be loose. The nail's still going to be nice and tight. But this is going to make it go in nice and straight without bending. So we put that in there and we go. And the other thing to do when you're doing this, I've done it before by mistake, don't hammer it in too far. If you over hammer it, then it won't spin. So you want to have enough, you want to make sure it's in enough that it's not going to fall out, but you want to be able to have it so that it rotates freely as well. This one can go in a little bit more. That's pretty good. So that can freely rotate, that freely rotates, that one freely rotates, that's good. Let's find another one. And then I shall re-chat again in a minute. So bear with me if you're posting in the chat, I shall look at it again in a moment. Let's just find, where's the nail on this one? Oh, there it is. They are tricky to find sometimes, these, but it was hiding there. So there's the nail. Put it through the center, and then I'm going to be in front of the camera. I'll tell you what, if I go down here, then maybe you can still see. So into the pilot hole at the front, and then that's pretty good. I'm happy with that one. And then I've got one more to do, but I've just realized that's still hammered into a pole from last year, which didn't go off. And occasionally you don't have things don't go off. The talon may have misfired. So I've got one that's not been fired, but this is from last year. So it's still on the post that I used last year. So I'm going to take that talon clip off and not chance that. I'll put a new talon clip on, and I need to get this nail out of here so that I can remount the wheel on the other plinth. Let's see if this comes out easily. Yes, it does. And I can reuse this nail because it's still again nice and straight, because again I drilled a pilot hole, so it's not bent the nail. So we'll do this one over on this side. Let's go around this way and do this one. So let's put this in the little pilot hole here, like that. Give it a little tap, give it a bit more of a tap. It's pretty good, I'm happy with that. So those are my 5 Catherine wheels. They're all going to kind of go off together in the display. These are going to be about 4 or 5 meters apart, so we're going to get 20 meters span. The big one in the middle, this is a lovely one. This is new for 2023 from Celtic Fireworks. There's a video and a review of it on my channel. I was very honoured to be the first to fire this in the UK and provide footage of it for Celtic, so that's on my channel. Go check that out. But I really like this wheel, really lovely, no noise, low noise wheel, no crackling. So the 5 of these together are going to look quite good when they all go off. So yeah, that was my little tip for doing Catherine wheels. Drill a little pilot hole first before you knock the nail in. It will make the nail go in nice and straight without bending or going in at a funny angle. The other little tip I've got for Catherine wheels, and let me see where it is. Did I put it over here? Quite often when you get Catherine wheels, they'll all come with a nail, but occasionally you get ones that come with nails that are a little bit rusty. So what I tend to do, I use a little bit of this. This is shaver oil, oil that you get for like lubricating shavers, and I literally, oh yeah, I'll show you it. There you go. So it's just a shaver oil. I literally put a tiny little dab just on the nail, and it just helps this rotate just that little bit better. You'll get a bit more speed out of it, reduces the friction. I can do this now, even though I'm not doing the display for a couple of weeks. This doesn't dry out, so I'm just going to literally put, not massive, it's just like a drop or two on that and spin that around, and that will just kind of lubricate that wheel. So you don't have to do this, but I find it makes the wheels rotate a lot more freer. You get a bit more speed out of them, less friction, so it's a good thing to do. So just a little drop there, just a little drop there. We spin those round, get that oil in there. Let's do one on this one. There we go, spin that around, and finally over there. So that's my other little tip for Catherine wheels. So my 2 tips: drill a pilot hole, number 1. 2, use a little bit of oil. I say this is shaver oil. Just a drop, just on the nail itself, just to lubricate it so you get more speed as it spins around. So that's my Catherine wheels done. Oh, no, it's not, because I need to actually connect them to the firing system, don't I? So that's where my other tip comes in. Of course, if you were watching yesterday, you'll see that I ignite these fireworks all electronically using these things called talons. They basically clip onto the fuse. I send a voltage through here, it ignites the fuse, and then the firework ignites. I'm neglecting chat, I realise. Let's have a look back at chat. Candy Mom 15 is here. She says, Marko. Hello, Candy Mom. Thank you for joining me today. I'm setting up some fireworks for a display I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks' time on bonfire night. So I'm doing as much prep as I can beforehand to make it easier on the day itself. So my other tip, when you're electronically firing Catherine wheels, obviously this will clip onto the fuse. So for example on, well, let's look at this one on the end here. The fuse is here. I try and have the fuse at the bottom of Catherine wheels and clip these on underneath. Why? Well, let me show you. Once this ignites, obviously the wire still stays, the wire doesn't go anywhere. The clip ignites, the clip might melt. In fact, one of the questions somebody asked on the stream last night was, what do they look like when they're kind of used? So I managed to find one from last year. So they melt. There's a good one that hasn't been used yet. There's one that's been used, and you can see it's kind of, they're plastic, so they just kind of melt. But obviously the wire's still there. So if I was to connect this to the fuse at the top, this will then go round and you still have this wire here. By doing it underneath, once this lights and burns through the fuse, this then drops down effectively, so it's not in the way of the Catherine wheel. It's not going to inhibit it spinning round. So yeah, always try and, when you're using talons, use them from underneath the Catherine wheel, so that when it ignites, the fuse burns through, this will just drop down. It's not going to get in the way. It's not going to prevent the Catherine wheel from spinning. So those are my little tips. Now I need to see if these 50 centimetre talons are going to be long enough, or whether I should probably use 1 metre ones for this. Let's have a little look. Going to go into, no, that's going to work. Yeah, 50 centimetre ones will work. So let's get some of these going. I'm going to come around the front because it's easier. So this one, obviously the fuse is exposed because I used that last year. I'm going to just expose the fuses on the other ones as well. So let's have a look. These ones have a little orange fuse cover. So we pull that back and expose this fuse, and could probably do with exposing a little bit more of that because that's also got sellotape over it, which has kind of prevented the fuse cover from coming off. Let's get my little knife on that. So am I still, I think I'm still in shot, but I'm not in the way. That's good. So let's just, there we go, release that a little bit more. That's great, like that. This one has a fuse cover on the front, like so. Now let's do this one here. Nope, this one's going to need a little bit of a knife as well. To expose the fuse, like that, and the same probably I think with this one. This looks like it's going to need it as well. There we go. So those are the fuses exposed. I'm going to try and see if I can get a little bit of the tissue paper that's around the fuse off a little bit. If you saw my stream last night, you'll know all about the joys of this tissue paper. It's basically to keep the fuse in place, the fuse doesn't fall out, but it's not part of the fuse itself, so you can't really light it. So I'm just going to pull that back and try and expose down further to there, which is good. Let's do the same on this one if we can. So yeah, when you clip these talon igniters on, I try and clip them as close as I can to the entry point of the firework rather than at the tip of the fuse. If you clip them on the tip of the fuse, these fuses burn around about 1 centimetre a second. So if you clip it onto the top, when you ignite it, it's going to be about 7 seconds before your firework actually does anything. So by clipping it closer to the entry point, you can get that time down to about 2 seconds, 2-3 seconds, something like that. I usually allow 3 seconds, but it's usually around 2.5. Let's come around this way, then I'm not standing in front of the camera. Let's read some chats while as we go past. Kenny Mum says, nice fireworks, amazing how they do designs. Yes, amaze me how they do designs, that's right, yeah. Okay, so let's have a look at this one here. So we're going to try and take this red tissue paper back if we can. Sometimes they're quite well stuck on, sometimes they're quite loose and they come off quite easily. This one is quite well stuck on. We'll come back to that one. Let's have a look at this one. This is one I did last year. I'm surprised I didn't pull more of this back, but again I might have had the same issue. Let's have a go. It probably would have been easy to do this before I mounted them, but hey, there we go. There we go, that's coming off now. So again, I'm just doing this so I can clip the talon closer down the fuse, closer to the actual entry point of the wheel itself. That's the plan. Let's get my knife on that. There we go. That's good. That one's now fully off in my little rubbish bag. Let's do the same. Let's try and get this one off as well. So they're not actually glued on, these bits of tissue paper, but they can be wrapped quite tightly around the fuse itself, making them a little bit tricky to remove. If you're hand lighting these fireworks, you don't need to take this off. You can light it with this on. It's not an issue. It's only because I'm electronically firing these that I want to be able to clip the igniter closer in. So there we go. That's all 5 of those nice and exposed now. Kamara Brocade is here. Those super spinners are absolute bargain, especially effective in multiples. I've got a few this year for pre-display. Yes, they are really good value. You know, you can get them for a couple of £2 if you know where to shop. And they've got 6 motors on, so they're really good. Cheap Catherine wheels tend to just have a single motor. A motor is basically just like one little section here. So Catherine wheels with just one, yeah, once it gets going it looks all right, but once it starts it doesn't look great. These, the symmetry in here, it looks good. This one again, the do the twist wheels, really, really nice. So I've got 4 super spinners, and 1 do the twist. So let's get some talons on these and clipped in. So again, we're going to do the fuse down at the bottom if we can. And the reason for that, as I said before, is that once this ignites, the clip is just going to fall away. If I did this from the top, the clip's still going to be there and it can catch on the wheel. So this way, I know the wheel's going to be free and it's not going to catch. So this is going into number 1 on my slat here. So I will show you the slats again in a bit for those of you who didn't see them yesterday. But this is basically going to go in like that and like that. So there we go. So now when I send the current through there, it's going to ignite the fuse is going to burn away. This talon is going to fall away and not get in the way of the Catherine wheel itself. So that's good. Let's do the next one. In fact, let's turn this around and then you can actually see what I'm doing around the backs of these. There we go, there's just about enough room to do that. Which now means I need to come around that side again. Okay, so I'm going to clip this onto the fuse as low as I can get it. Let's do it here. And as close to the entry point on the firework as I can get as well. So this is just going to clip on like so. And then this is my slat. So there's 12 channels on here. So I can put basically 12 different queues on here. And then I just plug in a network cable, a standard Ethernet internet cable, and that runs to my firing system. So it's great. So rather than have to run 12 wires out to every single one of these positions, I just need to run one single data cable out. And then I've got control of 12 queues in this one location. So that's quite useful. So just bend these copper ends over. And these are just spring terminals like you get on the back of a hi-fi speaker. So I'm just going to put this into number 1. Doesn't matter which way around these go. I know there's kind of red and black shown here. It doesn't matter. The polarity doesn't matter on these. So that's that one in. Let's spin that one back around. Let's do the twist. Now, do the twist is slightly different because rather than the fuse coming out the side, it kind of comes out the front. So again, I still want to get this so that the talon's going to fall away rather than fall on the wheel. So I'm going to do that from underneath. Let's get another one of these out. These do get tangled quite easily, it has to be said. There we go. And let's catch up on the chat as well. Let's have a look. LSU Mum is here. Hello, Emily. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I'm just setting up some fireworks for those of you just joining me. I know there's 8 people watching at the moment. I'm doing a display in a couple of weeks' time, a public display in Liverpool, but space is quite limited, so I can't do the very, very big fireworks. I have to do some slightly smaller ones. So, and there's going to be kids as well. It's quite family kind of orientated. So I do lots of fountains along the front. So I'm building these fountain tables. These are going to be spread out across the front of the display. They're going to be about 4 or 5 meters apart, covering about 20 meters in total in width. So yeah, I'm just setting these up. That's what I'm doing at the moment. So let's come and let's see if I can find. No, I'm going to have to come around that side. Okay, so I'm going to clip this on at the bottom here. Again, as close as I can to the entry point. Bend this around. I'm going to go around the back and plug that in to number 1 on the slat on this one. I won't turn this around. You saw on the other one what it was, so you just have to take my word for it. It's the same on this one. So let's bend this out like so. I also, as well, if you were watching my stream last night, you know I had a bit of an issue with one of these fountains kind of being a bit not built very well, and I've come up with a solution for that, so I'll show you guys that as well in a little while. Let's get these Catherine wheels all plugged in first. There we go. Let's do the next one. Grab another one of these. Feel free to ask any questions as well in the chat. I love getting your questions and trying to answer them as best as I can. Any questions at all about fireworks or what I'm doing, then please feel free to ask away in the chat and I'd be very happy to answer. Let's get that one clipped on there. That's good. And then this one's also going into number 1 on the slat. Like so, and then last but not least, the one over there. So clip it in as close as it can go to the entry point. And again, when I clip it on as well, I just squeeze the clip as well, just make sure it's in nice, good contact with the visco. Candy Mom, Cynthia says, Marco, like how I mentioned the design, how does that happen? So the design for this is quite a long process. I start the process of designing this particular show in about August, September time. And the first thing I do basically is I look at what fireworks are available for me to get that year. There's new ones that come in, there's some new ones on here that haven't been seen in the UK in displays before. So I basically kind of do a lot of research in sort of the August, September time, and then basically get a shopping list together. I then have to cut my shopping list down because I go way over budget with everything I want to buy. So I have to, that's the process I hate most, because I make a list of all the fireworks. Yeah, this is great. I want this, and this, and work out the costs. I'm like, okay, I need to start cutting stuff out. And I have to do quite a lot of editing. Value engineering, I call it, to get it down to a more reasonable amount. Then I buy all the fireworks. Obviously I get them all delivered. I then do all this prep here. So, well, before I do the prep, I work out whereabouts the fireworks are going to plug in, and how the site is going to be laid out on the actual field. I then set up all the fireworks like this. I haven't done any programming yet for this, but once I know where everything's going to be and how it all fits together, I'll then go on the computer, program it all so that the fireworks fire in the sequence and the timing that I want. And then transfer that program and it's kind of ready to go. So that's the design process really for this. So I can kind of, at the moment, I can envisage what this is going to look like in my head, because I've seen what all these fireworks do individually. Some of them I've witnessed for myself, some of them I've filmed myself previously. Some of them I've not been able to see with my own eyes before. I've had to rely on videos on YouTube. But what I do is I never just rely on one single video on YouTube. Like, for example, this is a brand new fountain, this popcorn fountain from Vulcan. I haven't seen this for myself. I did find a video of it. I found several videos of it. And so I can kind of, from that, take a bit of an average and work out roughly what this is going to do. Because fireworks do change from year to year. This might be completely different to what it was last year or the year before. Manufacturers do change them and tweak them and don't tell anyone, and yet still keep the name the same, which is really frustrating. For me, if they're going to change the fireworks, how its effects are going to be, rename it, call it something else. So there's no guarantee that if you bought this last year, it's going to perform the same again this year. So the best thing you can do is basically watch as many videos of it online as you can, and then you can kind of get a rough idea of how it's going to perform. So, as I say, I can sort of visualize this display kind of in my head, but I haven't actually programmed it yet and got it down to a fine art. So I hope that answers your question, Cynthia. LSU Mum says, I love fireworks display. I love firework displays. If there's one in my area, I'll be there. Our local town does a really nice one for 4th of July. Yes, absolutely. T-Town Mary Allen says, this is my lack of knowledge about fireworks, but my first question would be, if they are that close together, can they not set each other off? That's a very good question. We call it cross-ignition. Cross-ignition is where one firework can set another one off. There is a risk doing fireworks this close that can happen. I do take steps to minimize that risk, and if you saw the stream last night, you'll see what I did, and I'm going to be doing the same again in a little while, so you'll see it again. But basically, you might be able to see there's foil over the tops of all these. That's to stop the sparks, or to minimize the chance of sparks from one fountain igniting the other. And generally, this method that I use, it works pretty well. Occasionally you get cross-ignition, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a safety thing. It just means a firework's going to go off potentially before you envisage it going off. So it's not a safety issue. But yes, there is always that risk, but there are things you can do to minimize it. For example, by foiling the tops of these fireworks, and we'll do that again in a little while. So you'll see that. So thanks, great question though, that T-Town Marianne, thank you. And Candy Mum says program, wow, yes. Yep, it's all programmed in, so I know roughly when things are going to fire. It's never exact because I'm using talons rather than e-match. There is always a short delay from when I want a firework to ignite to when it will actually fire because of course it's got that little bit of visco fuse to burn through. But over the years I factor in basically 3 seconds when I'm using talons. So I know that if I want something to fire at a certain time, I need to ignite it 3 seconds before, and then roughly it's going to be about right. The good thing about this display I'm doing is it's not a pyro musical, it's not set to music. So the timings are really not that important. So I'm not that fussed whether things are kind of spot on or not. So that kind of makes it a little bit easier as well. Candy Mom says, I didn't know people who set them up also do the programming. I thought there'd be 2 different people. The educational knowledge is vast. Yeah, for this display, this is kind of a display I do on my own. So yeah, I kind of do everything for it. Big professional firework display companies, they will have a designer that will design it all on computer, render it, 3D simulate it and all this lot, show the client. And the people that set the fireworks up haven't seen that design, know nothing about it. They just set it up. So yes, in the professional shows that I do, I set fireworks up and I've not designed them and I don't know what it's going to look like. I just get a plan and here's how to set up the fireworks. So yeah, it does depend on what you're doing. But for this little show that I'm doing, this community display, I design it myself, I rig it myself and set everything up. So yeah, I kind of do it all on that. So I hope that answers that question as well. Right, so we've got all the Catherine wheels connected now, which is great. So we did this centre board first yesterday, and then we did this board, which is virtually the same as this one, except there's a different Catherine wheel on it and also a different coloured flame. If you watched the stream last night, I did a little poll. We'll do another one in a bit. Each one of these is going to have what we call a Bengal flare or Bengal flame, a coloured flame firework. I've got 5 different colours, so there's going to be a different colour on each. We've got yellow in the middle. We did a viewers vote last night on the stream, and you guys decided you wanted purple on this one, so purple is on that. So you guys are actually having a bit of an input in the design of my show here, which is kind of quite cool. So Roy says it'd be good to see you doing unboxing of your deliveries when they arrive throughout the year, Marco. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I could do that. I do actually still have some more due to come this year, so there is still time to do an unboxing, perhaps. We shall see. But yeah, I do love getting fireworks and getting them delivered and looking at them and reading all the labels. And yeah, okay, I'm sad, but I enjoy it. So, okay, so I think let's do this one here. We'll move the MacBook along a little bit because this one's going to be basically a mirror of this one, but with a different colour flame. So let's move some of this stuff across here. Let's put that in the bin. Let's get rid of those there. We don't need that box at the moment. That can go in the bin. Okay, and then let's move the MacBook across there so I can still see you guys and chat to you. Well, I can't see you guys, but I can still chat to you. I can see you in the chat. That's what I meant. Right, let's get the fireworks out that are going to go on here. So we're going to start off with, and I'll talk you through them as we go as well. First one that's going on is this. This is brand new for 2023 from Vivid Pyrotechnics, Goldilocks. Really nice deep gold fountain with blue in it. Really lovely. I've had an opportunity to fire a few of these now already this year. I really like them. So there's going to be one of those on the back corner there. There's going to then be one of these. This is a T1 pyrotechnic. So this is actually a theatrical pyrotechnic. So not a firework as such, a pyrotechnic. This is a lovely fountain. This lasts about 40 seconds, I think. It starts off gold and then transitions into silver. It's lovely. There's a video of this. Is there a video of this on my channel? There's a short of this on my channel. If you check out my shorts, that sounds very wrong, doesn't it? Check out my shorts on YouTube. There's a video of this fountain on there. It's lovely. So that's going on there as well. And then we've got one of these popcorn fountains. I love the design on this because it looks just like a box of popcorn. It's even got popcorn on the label on the top. Really nice. This is from Vulcan, the popcorn fountain. It contains 136 grams of net explosive content. The effects are described as silver, I don't know if this is all focused, probably not, but I'll read it out. Silver silk sparks and red sparks, silver flower sparks and yellow sparks, big dragon sparks. Apparently lasts 40 seconds and gets to a height of 2 meters. And there's a little picture that's meant to show the effects. But basically this is like a very big, loud, crackling fountain. There's going to be 5 of these. It's going to be part of the finale. It's going to be quite crackly and loud and should be quite good. So that's going on there. Next up we have this fountain. This is by Yorgi. It's JF19 SOS. it's a fountain battery. So there's actually, I think, 4 fountains in here, maybe 5. So this lasts, I think, about 65 seconds. Lots of different effects. Let's read the effects. Here we go. This is a bit of a mouthful, so bear with me. So this contains red moving star with white flower, red star, green moving star with silver pine, green star, blue moving star with yellow flower, blue star, red, green, blue moving star with silver wire, red star, and green star. Whew, and breathe. So I've used this in my display last year. It's a really nice fountain, really good. I like this one. Multi-effect, so that's going on there as well. We've then got a titanium thunder fountain. Again, another sort of crackling, quite a loud one. So that's going to go on there as well. Next up, we have this one. This is a low noise one from Standard Fireworks called Oh So Quiet. Lasts 60 seconds. There are 3 fountains inside. So one fires, one after the other. The description of the effects. It says an impressive low noise multi-effect fountain featuring gold and silver coloured stars and red stars, yellow chrysanthemum and blue stars. So that's that. Now, it does actually, if you can hear that, it kind of rattles around. It's not very well secured inside. And that's one of the issues I had, because I've also got those on these ones here. But I've got a solution to that. So we'll come on to that in a bit when we set that up there. And then along the front of the plinth, we have, I need to open this box, some little fountains. There we go. So this is also from Yorgi. These are called Diamond Fountains JF21. It's a pack of 4 fountains. There's 2 different effects in here. Let's open this up. I didn't cut through the tape. There we go. So in here we have a blue and a red. They're category F1, so they only need to be a metre away from the spectators. They are going to be a lot further than that away. And this one has a blue flame, so like a blue flare, which transitions, I think, into a gold fountain. This one is a red flame. It's at the start, and then it transitions into a silver fountain. So a couple of nice little fountains on the front. Let's get those the right way round. So they're going to go there and there. And then we have a white strobe. These are Yorgi strobes. These are really nice. They come in a pack of 3. White strobes, they last about 60 seconds each. They're really good. I use these pretty much every year. They're really good. Strobes, basically, they're technically classed as fountains, but there's no sparks that come out of it. It's basically bright white light that flashes repeatedly, quite fast. And there's going to be 1 on each of these plinths. There's going to be 5 of these going off along the front of the display, and they will look quite impressive. So this is going on there as well. And then last but not least, there's going to be a coloured flame. These are by Vulcan. They're called Bengal Fugo Mix. So if I've pronounced that right, I think it's Dutch. So it's a box of 5 different coloured flames. These are also category F1. That's the green one there, the red one, the blue one. We've already got the yellow out and the green out. So we need to decide on a colour. So let's do a little poll in the chat. It's what we did yesterday, and it's great. And you guys can decide what colour we're going to put over on this side. So let me catch up on the chat before we do that. No, I'll tell you what. Let's do a poll first, and then I will catch up on the chat. So let's remember how to do this. Start a poll. There we go. What colour flame should go on plinth? What number plinth is this? Letter plinth E. And then the options are going to be, what have we got left? Red, green or blue? Red, green, and add an option for blue. Start poll, so you guys can vote what colour you would like to be on this, and that will be on this for the display. When you watch the display, you'll be able to decide, well, you'll be able to see that, hey, you decided what colour flame goes on here. So we've already got yellow on here, which I put on. You guys decided last night on the stream to put purple on this one. So you can decide what we have on this one. Whilst you're voting, I'm going to catch up a little bit on the chat to see what I've missed. Candy Mum says, opening them and showing us how they look in the same vlog would be fun. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll remember that. We'll do an unboxing Next, I should hopefully have some more fireworks coming at some point in the next week or so, and we will try and do an unboxing then. Bulletproof Mum says I go purple, red, yellow, green, blue. Brightest centre. Yes, that's what I did. I know the yellow one's going to be brighter than the others. That's why I put the yellow one in the centre. So I did make that decision. At the moment, red seems to be winning for here, but let's see. Keep voting, guys, in the chat. Well, in the poll. Let's have a look. Bambography. Bambography. I hope I've pronounced that right. Do you secure the talons to prevent them pulling when setting them up this far in advance? I will probably actually put a bit of tape on these Catherine wheel ones. I'll probably just tape that just so that it doesn't get caught when I'm transporting them. The rest of them, I've used very small talons. They're only 50 centimeters long, so everything's kind of contained on here. I'll probably just cable tie them all together or twist them all together. So I'm not particularly worried about these getting caught on anything. My slats that I'm connecting them to are actually underneath the board. So even if something juts up right against the back of them, it's not going to interfere with the connection. So I'm not particularly concerned with that. But yeah, for big fountains like this one here, I have actually stuck a bit of tape, because the talon's at the top, stuck a bit of tape on here just so that it doesn't catch on the side. So occasionally I do. It depends on where the cable's running, how long it is, and what it's likely to catch on. Bulletproof Mum says, I looked at Goldilocks earlier, stunning. Yeah, it's a really nice fountain. Really difficult to capture fountains on video. Well, Catherine wheels are probably the hardest, but fountains can be a bit tricky as well. But the blues in this are really nice. Some footage I've seen of it doesn't show the blues at all very well. People have used different camera settings. But in real life, you can see the blues, and the blues do come out on my footage. So do check that out. I think there's a short of it as well on my channel. If not, there's certainly a review of it on my channel. It's Goldilocks, brand new for 2023 from Vivid Pyrotechnics. 200 grams F2 conic fountain. Tita Marial is laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing. Candy Mum says, once you set them up on site, do you have to set them off? Or if things got cancelled, are you able to take them apart? So these are kind of, if I have to cancel the show, this will come away as it is and come back to base here as it is. And hopefully we do the show again if it has to get cancelled. There will be some fireworks that I do have to dismantle, some that I fuse slightly differently. These are being fused with talons. I fuse some with E-match as well, which I won't show you, but those I need to dismantle on site. But most stuff can kind of come back off site as it is to be used again. So hopefully though the display won't get cancelled, fingers crossed. Although that said, I was meant to be doing a display tonight at a primary school and that's been rained off. So it does happen. Although usually rain isn't the issue, wind is more of an issue with fireworks. Wind, if the wind is blowing too strongly or in the wrong direction, that's more of a safety issue rather than rain. But again, if it's throwing it down rain, audience are not going to want to stand around watching fireworks. So let's have a look. Bulletproof Mum said I did the wrong one. She meant blue. I don't know if you can change your vote on these polls. I don't know. Maybe you can change your vote. If not, we will add a vote onto the blue and take one off the red. Let's see what the vote is. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, this is great. So it's 50-50 between red and blue. Okay. So brilliant. Well, we'll let that poll go a little bit longer and see if anybody else votes. So next thing I need to do is I need to get these attached to this plinth. If you saw my stream last night, I used these. These are shelving brackets. I'll come around and show them to the camera so you guys can see. These are zinc plated steel, basically shelving brackets. They're 50mm by 50mm, the ones I use. Useful because it's the same width as my gaffer tape. So when I tape round things, it tapes over that quite nicely. They've 2 screw holes on that side, 2 screw holes on that side. Obviously I don't screw into the firework. I do screw into the board though, and I usually just use 1 screw, so I've still got a little bit of movement so I can adjust this if I need to. So you can get these from DIY stores, hardware stores. I think these ones I actually got off Amazon. So how many fountains in all? Okay, so I think, let's have a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's kind of 10, 20, 30, so probably about 50 fountains in this display, give or take. I think these ones have slightly less, so maybe 48, 46. So quite a lot of fountains in this display. But again, because space is limited, I have to use smaller fountains and smaller fireworks, which on their own don't look impressive. But if you do them in quantities, so if I've got 5 fountains exactly the same, all going off, even though by themselves they're small fountains, if you've got 5 going off in a line, it can actually be quite impressive. So yeah, so I reckon about 45, 50 fountains, something like that. Going to be good, says Rusty Trumpet. Yes, and I say I will be filming it. I won't be live streaming it because there's no signal where I do this in Liverpool, but I will film it and it will go on my channel a few days later. You can actually find last year's display, and I think probably the year before's on my channel as well. So if you just go back through my videos and look around Bonfire Night, you will see my displays. They're similar. I say some of the fireworks I've used before, some of them I'm using for the first time. So I do vary the display. It is different each year. And I do a different finale as well each year. So blue is now winning with 57% of the votes. Okay, that's, oh, it's getting close. Right, so yes, brackets. So let's take all these fireworks off again, now that I've put them all on. And we'll start getting some brackets on. Let's put these just down here, out of the way for now. Like that. And we'll start with the big Goldilocks fountain. So the thing with fountains, there's no recoil in these, so I'm not worried about this kind of leaping off here as I would be with cakes and things which you have to secure properly. But this could of course topple over, so I want to prevent this from toppling. So the way I do it, I know different people do it different ways. There's no necessarily right way to do it or wrong. There are some wrong ways to do it, but this is the way I do it. I'm going to use 4 of these brackets and I'm going to screw them in. I'm going to need my screwdriver though. It might help. There we go. So let's get some, let's put that there. Running out of space. These were really nice workstations yesterday. Good for putting things on. I'm now running out of space because I'm doing all this. So, but hey, that's fine. That's all good. So let's get some little screws. So some of these are going to have 4 brackets on, some of them are only going to have 1 bracket on. What determines how many brackets I use? Well, basically the effects of the fountain, how powerful the firework or the fountain is. This is quite powerful, so I'm going to use 4 on this. Some of these smaller ones along the front, I just use 1 on, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I'm just going to work out where this needs to go. Let's position this right at the back. Put that there, that's good. So let's screw this in. Like so. Let's work out where the next one's going to go. So it's going to go about there. That's good. Next one I suspect is probably going to go somewhere like that. Let's have a look. A bit further out. That's good. When I realised, yes, I've got live subtitles on this stream as well. So if you turn closed captioning on, then that should work. But I find because I close caption, you might not know this, but all my videos, don't do it on the live streams, but all my videos, I close caption them all. I know YouTube can auto-generate subtitles and I get all that, but quite often it messes them up. So all my videos all actually have manual subtitles on as well, which takes me an absolute age to do, but hey, I think it's worth it. Because YouTube does struggle with the auto-generated subtitles when it comes to fireworks. Whenever I say the word pyrotechnics, it comes up as pirate technics. So let's see what it comes up with actually on, let's say it again, pyrotechnics. I'll wait a few seconds to see what it comes up with on the subtitles, but I bet it comes up pirate technics. No, it came up pyrotechnics, it worked this time. Well, there you go. Oh, pirate techniques. Oh, I love it. Yeah, YouTube is funny when it misgenerates their subtitles. So yeah, that's why I actually manually subtitle all my videos as well on my channel. All right, last screw going in for this one. Like so. Let's get this one in a little bit more like that. Right. Now obviously these are 90-degree angle brackets. This doesn't have a straight side, it has a sloped side. So this should just fit in here quite snugly already actually in between the four, but I'm then just going to bend. I don't know if you can even see this because my MacBook might be in the way. Let's move that like that. So we're just going to bend these in a little bit. These are steel, so they do actually bend. So bend these in like that. That's pretty good. And then what we'll do in a bit, we'll tape around that as well. And then that will just make that really secure. That's not going to then fall off. So do you know what? It makes a lot of sense to tape as we go here. Yesterday when I was still working things out, I'd screw everything down and then try and tape everything, which was a bit kind of awkward to do. So I think today we're going to tape as we go. If I can find my tape. Here's my tape. So yeah, I use this. It's duct tape, gaffer tape, whatever you want to call it. This is good quality stuff, 3M stuff. I have it in a range of different colours, black, white and silver. I tend to use black on things that are potentially going to be visible. These are going to be off the ground, so potentially a little bit visible. Cakes and stuff at the back of the firing sight, yeah, I can use silver, it doesn't really matter. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around all four of the brackets and the fountain itself. So this tape is stuck now to all four brackets and also stuck to the body of the firework as well. Rip that off like that. So that is nice and secure. If you don't have duct tape, gaffer tape, I mean, you get this from hardware stores. It's really easy to come by. You can use parcel tape. Parcel tape's the other thing you can use. That's the brown stuff that you use for sealing up cardboard boxes and stuff. You can use that. I prefer this. It's stronger. This can melt and tear quite easily. Does the job, but I prefer gaffer tape. So that's that one gaffer taped in. Let's do the next one, which is going to be this T1 fountain. That's going to go in the back in the center there. I'm just going to need a single bracket for this. So on the fireworks where there's just one bracket, where do you put it? Do you put it at the front of the firework? Do you put it at the back of the firework? Does it make a difference? Does it matter? Well, yeah, it does. It does make a difference. So I always put them, let's move that out of the way so you can see, always put them at the front of the firework. That way, if this is going to fall, the only way it can fall is either back or to the side. It cannot fall forward towards the audience. So that's why I put a bracket at the front. Let's just work out the spacing on this, because popcorn is going to go there. Yeah, that spacing's okay. That's all good. Which way did I do it on there? I did it there, that's fine. Good, so we'll screw this one in here. Like so. I'll tape around that one, but before I do, I need to remove this bit of tape, which is holding the igniter. So these T1 Pyrotechnics, they come pre-wired, so they've already got igniters in them, but they come obviously all kind of coiled up and taped to the side. So I just want to move that out of the way so that I can get tape around this and not accidentally tape over the igniter wire, because that wouldn't be good. So there we are, that's now free of that, so this can go right up against that, like so, and we'll put some tape around this firework as well. This pyrotechnic, technically, this one, not a firework. There we go, let's rip that off there. All stuck to my fingers, never mind. And then round there. And again, that's not going anywhere now either. So next up, it's the popcorn fountain, which is going to go here. Again, this one's quite a vigorous fountain from what I've seen, so I am going to use 4 brackets on it. Let's get some more brackets out. Like so. Let's also get some more screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's see how I did this on the other one. Right, I did it like that. Okay. So we do 1 there. 1. Kind of there. So again, I'm trying to get these nice and snug, but then again, I'm going to be putting tape around it as well. So we'll do 1 at the back or the front here. Like that. And then 1 final one there. That's pretty good. Yep, they all look good. So I'll take the fountain out and then try and keep those all in place. Yep. And then we will screw these in here. Where did I put my screwdriver? There it is. Okay, so if you're just joining me, thanks for joining me. I'm setting up some fireworks here. I'm prepping some fireworks for a display. I'm going to be doing a public display in Liverpool on Bonfire Night this year. I'm just setting up my fountain tables. These are going to be across the front of the display. Space is quite limited where I do this display, so I do quite a lot of fountains along the front. But I like to have a good mix of fountains because sometimes fountains can be very much of a muchness. So I like to have a bit of variety in them. So quite a few different fountains here, and I totted it up. I think there's going to be about 50 different fountains across these 5 plinths. So yeah, this is what I'm doing now. I'm just setting up these brackets to secure the fountains to these boards that I've made. These boards are just, it's just rough sawn timber. I can show you it. I just picked this up from a hardware store. They were longer than this. They're, I think, 1.8 meters long by, I think, 150 mil, 15 centimeters wide by 20, is it 20, 22 mil thick. I've chopped them all up to make 30 by 30 centimeter, 300 by 300 mil square plinths to go on these stands. The stands themselves are just speaker stands, regular speaker stands with little top hats on them, and that I've screwed into the bottom of these. In fact, I might show you on one of these before I put fireworks on what it looks like underneath so you can see. So yeah, Rusty Trumpet says, quality piece, that Goldilocks fountain. It is. It's really, really nice. And say I've got 3 of them in my display, so that's going to look pretty nice. But yeah, I do like gold fountains, and I like fountains with blue in, so best of both worlds, really. That's not the fountain I want. I want the popcorn fountain. So that's going to slot in between all of those. That's nice and snug. Perfect. That's really good. So I'm going to get some gaffer tape around the base of this. So this is going around all 4 of the brackets I've put on. And then taping to the firework itself. So this will basically just stop this firework from toppling. Because of course these plinths are going to be higher. They're not going to be at this height on the actual display site. They're just on this side, so on this height, so I can work on them. These speaker stands go up to about 2 meters, so these could potentially go 2 meters high. They're not going to be that high because my audience is not going to be that far away. But why don't I just do these on the ground? Well, because when you're doing a display with fountains, the front row of the audience might be able to see them if they're on the ground, but 2 or 3 rows back, they're not going to be able to see stuff on the ground. So it's good to elevate fountains if you can. Also, a lot of fountains as well, yeah, they spray sparks up in the air, but some of them kind of have plumes that come down and can actually go lower than the fountain. So if you've got these on the ground, the sparks just fall on the ground. If you've got them higher up, sparks can kind of flow down over the side as well, and you get a bigger fountain effect. So that's another good way, another good reason for elevating your fountains if you can. Right, oh, I didn't rip that off. Let's rip this off like that. So there we go, that's 3 of those done. Let's do the SOS fountain next, which is this one. This is going to go here. And I think I used 2 brackets on this last time. From what I recall, let's have a look what I did. Yeah, I used 2. I used 2, yeah. So we shall put one like that, and we will put the other one like that. So again, this is quite a lightweight fountain. There's not a lot of weight in this. And the net explosive content of this is I did find this yesterday, 120 grams. So not a lot of weight, whereas some of these other ones are heavier, got more weight in them, so I've used more brackets. But for this, 2 brackets will be absolutely fine on this. So let's get a couple of screws and screw these in. So let's do this one here at the front. And the one at the side. It's going in here. That's good. And then we can tape around this fountain as well. A little bit low on that, never mind. I try and do my taping neatly, but again, it's going to be dark. People are not going to see how neat or otherwise this is. Point is, that's not going to fall off. So, what's the longest show you have set up for? Longest in terms of the duration of the show, or longest in terms of setup time? In terms of setup time, I did a big one last year. I'm doing the same again this year, where the actual build for it, I think, is about 3 days. So 3 solid days of setting up fireworks in a field. In terms of longest duration of actual show, I don't know, probably about 15, 20 minutes. You know, really, it's not always about the length of the actual display. Sometimes shorter displays are better. In fact, actually, I'd rather do a shorter display that's more impressive rather than a long, drawn out, slow, tedious, boring display that lasts 20 minutes, half an hour. So it varies. This particular display, again, I've not programmed it yet, so I don't know the exact time, but roughly I kind of aim for over 10 minutes and less than 15. So typically my displays at this particular site end up being about 12, 13 minutes. It does vary slightly, and it can vary even on the day if a firework fails or doesn't last as long as it should, or lasts too much longer than it should, and things like that. I have to tweak it a little bit on the day. So it's never an exact science to say it's going to last exactly this number of seconds. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Right, let's do next, we're going to do the thunder fountain in the middle. Now this one, if you're watching the stream last night, I'll come and show you on the camera. So it's a little fountain, cylindrical fountain. These come, because they are quite unstable, quite tall and quite narrow, they come with a little cardboard base on so that it will stand up without falling over. But quite often they are not attached very well. In fact, you can probably see that. That's actually at an angle. If I put that on there, that's not straight. It's actually leaning this way a little bit. So they do the job of stopping the firework falling over. Take that bit of cardboard off like that. And then that I can use with my bracket. So let's go and do that. So this is going to just need one bracket. Let's get another one out. There we go. And again, I'm doing this at the front of the firework, so the firework cannot fall forward. So we'll do that about there. That's good. That's actually slightly angled. Let's see if I can angle that back a touch. That's better. Yep, that's good. So where's my drill? There it is. Let's come around this side because it's easier than trying to work over the top of fireworks. And we'll put this in here. I need to come around this way a little bit. Oop. I think I'm in a little bit of a knot in the wood again. Let's try it again. There we go. That's gone in nicely there. So again, that's going to butt up right against that, and I'm going to put some tape around that. There's my tape. Like so. Nice and tight with the tape. So what you don't want to use in terms of tape, I said I use gaffer tape and use parcel tape. Don't use electrical tape, PVC tape. And why? Because this melts if it gets hot. So not really great to use to secure fireworks. Great for cables, keeping cables together and stuff, but not near fireworks themselves because it really doesn't do anything. Candy Mum says, for me, it's not the time, it's the show that I look for. Yes, absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Okay, next one is this fountain. Now, I had some issues with this fountain yesterday when I came to mounting it on these other ones. It's Oh So Quiet by Standard Fireworks, but it kind of rattles around. It's not very good. If I take the top of this off, because that's what I do with fireworks that have a paper top on, I skim it off, only because I then put foil over the top instead. With paper, if embers land on this, they could burn through and could ignite the firework. It's completely safe to use like this, but because I've got them in close proximity to others, I'm going to use a foil top instead. So I'm going to take the paper top off with my knife. As I say, you don't have to do this. You can use this firework as it is. But I'm just taking the paper top off like so. Get rid of that. And I will bring this around to the front, and you can see what the issue is with this. So this is a battery of fountains. So inside there are 3 different fountains. You light that one, it does that fountain and goes through to that one, then does that one. But I don't know if you can see, these are not very vertical. This one's kind of currently going off at an angle. That one's going off a bit of an angle there. They should all be straight up, and they're not. They're all, you can actually see that tube is loose in here, which is not really what I want. I want to make sure these all go straight up. So I was humming and hawing about how to fix this yesterday, and I did come up with a solution that's working quite well on these other 2. So I'm going to do the same on this. So what I'm going to do with my knife again, on the base here, there's a little bit of brown paper. I'm just going to skim that off like so. Put that in my rubbish bag. Close my knife up because I don't need that anymore. And then this bit just kind of, that came off. So there you go, you see, these fountains should be stuck to that. And it looks like at one point some attempt was made to stick them on, but at the moment they're not stuck on. So you can see they're all kind of over the place and loose and not really what I want. So my solution to this has been to use some very strong, where is it, over here, double-sided tape. This is really strong stuff. This isn't cheap stuff. This is proper 3M double-sided tape. So I'm going to cut a strip to put inside this. So let's get that the right length. Oh, and it fell on the floor. Never mind, it landed the right side up. So So I'm going to stick this inside this tray, this little cardboard tray, like that, push it down. I'm going to peel the backing off. Like so. And then I'm going to put the base back in. I've just pushed the fountains up a little bit, just initially, just to keep them away from this as I put this back in. So this is going to go back in now, like that. I'm then going to put this on a flat surface, stand it up, and stand the fireworks. Let me come around this side so I'm not blocking the view. So I can now push these fountains back down and they will stick against the really strong double-sided tape at the bottom. Push those down. That's really good. So those are now, all three of those are vertical, so which is what I want. What I will do is one final thing. I'll put a little bit of double-sided tape down on this board as well, stick that on there, and then again we'll put the brackets around and tape it as well, and that should then be good to go. So I need 2 more brackets, like so, and I need 2 more screws. And let's work out where this is going to go. It's going to go pretty much there. So we are going to need a bracket in there. And we're going to need a bracket in at the front. There. So let's get those screwed in first. Hold one screw at a time, it's probably a little bit easier. There's one. This one's a little bit tricky to get to now, but we can still do it. Great. So yeah, I needed another strip of this double-sided tape. So let's move this out of the way. I've got to be careful because of course the bottom can fall out of that. So there we go. LSU Mum says, you may have answered this before. How did you make those stands? Okay, I'll show you again in a second. Let me just get a little strip of this. Stick that there like so. So these stands are made out of rough sawn timber. I picked this up at a DIY store. It was longer than this at the time before I cut it down. These were, in fact there's probably a label on one of these, rough sawn treated timber, 22mm by 150mm by 1800. So 1.8 meters long these were, 150mm wide, 20mm, 22mm depth on that. I've cut them down basically to make them square. So on the top of here there's basically sort of two sections that I've screwed together. That's why there's a batten at the front and a batten at the back to keep those together. Underneath there's a plate which goes onto a speaker stand. I'll show you, if you remind me, I'll show you when we get to this board here that hasn't got any fireworks on. I'll take it off and you can see the underside. But these are basically just speaker stands, standard speaker stands you can pick up from anywhere. Great thing about these are they're lightweight. When you extend the tripods fully, they're quite closed up at the moment. When you extend them, they're really stable. You can get good height, you can get up to 2 meters on these if you want. So really useful, really versatile. I wanted these to be quite compact as well, so that's why I've gone for this. If you had lots of space, you'd perhaps space your fountains out more, but I want to keep these compact, 5 different sides. Each one's going to be about 4.5, 5 meters apart across like a 20-meter frontage. So yeah, they're just made just basically from bits of wood screwed together, essentially. All stuff you can pick up in a DIY store. So I've got the double-sided tape down on this one. Peel the backing paper off like that. Stand this fountain in its position, like so. Push that down. Make sure that's all nice. So they're all nice and vertical now, which is really good. And then we'll get my tape. And we will attempt to tape this up, which is a bit fiddly now because we're quite close to some other fireworks, but hey, we shall manage. There we go. Rip that off there. And all the way around, like so. That's pretty good. So yes, that was my solution to those kind of wobbly fountains. Not great design. You can see there was an attempt for them to be stuck down to the bases at some point, but I guess in transport from China, that glue didn't really work. So my solution seems to be okay. I tested it on the other ones, it seems all right. So I'm happy that these are all going to fire vertically and not off at kind of jaunty angles. Philip Atkinson says, "Hey up Marco, I recently purchased a firing system, and how would you connect bell wire to 3 talons? And what would the maximum length of bell wire be with my talons being 4 meters? It will depend on the quality of your bell wire. Wire has basically an AWG rating, so check what the AWG rating is on your bell wire. The higher that number, the better. The wires I use on my firing system, I think, are all 26 AWG. Anything 24 AWG, 26 AWG, you can get really long lengths. You'll be able to get, well, it depends on your firing system. It depends what voltage your firing system is running at. But you'll be able to get easily 20 meters, even from a small firing system. If you let me know what firing system you've got and what voltage it runs on, I might be able to give you a bit more advice. In terms of 3 talons, I always connect talons in parallel, not series. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me come and show you with some wire. So let's get a bit of old talon wire. I think I've got some here. Yeah. So let's cut this up, and then we can show you a bit easier. Okay, so this is a talon. This is the wire that it comes on. Let me cut up a few different little pieces of this, and then we can look at how we connect them. So let's just go on to, let's do your scenario of having 3 talons. So I've got 3 bits of talon wire here. Let me just separate them out. There's one. This is the most fiddly bit, trying to actually separate the wires. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, the pressure. Okay, that's that one. Let's strip the end off that. Like that. So there we go. We've got 2 talon wires. Let's do this one as well if we can. Great, there we go, and we strip the end of this. Oh, I cut the end off that one by mistake. Let's strip it, there we go. Right, okay. So let's pretend these are the 3 ends of your 3 talons. Always connect talons in parallel. So parallel means you join that to that. Twist those together. And your 3rd one, twist that on as well. Okay, so I've taken 1 wire from each of the 3 talons and twisted it together, and I take the other wire from each of the 3 talons and twist that together as well, and that's parallel. Okay, and that's the way you do your talons, as opposed to doing them in series. So they are, your 3 talons are basically, I hope you can see that, so basically you split your wires into 2, 1 of each of them gets twisted together, 1 of each of them, so you've got 3 there and 3 there. That then goes into your firing system. That will then fire all 3 talons. The reason you do it that way as opposed to series, if I take these apart and show you what this would look like if they were wired in series. So on series, rather than connecting them kind of over the top of each other, you connect them one onto the other. So that one would go there, like that, and then this one would go like that. So you kind of almost like daisy chain them, almost like sort of Christmas fairy lights. So you end up with basically that, and then those are the 2 bits you'd connect to your firing system, and you've got the joins there. Don't do that though with talons, and the reason you don't do that with talons is down to the way the talons work. So inside the talon clip, there's a little bit of fuse wire that when you put a current through, it basically glows really hot and burns through. Once that burns through, it breaks the circuit, so there's no continuity once that's burned through. So if you do them in series like that, if this talon in the middle, for example, fired before the other 2, there's no circuit, the circuit is then broken, it's not going to fire your other 2 talons. But if by doing them in parallel, like that, it means that all 3 will fire. It doesn't matter if there's a short circuit and an open circuit in that one, then the other 2 will still have a circuit to be able to fire. So I hope that answers your question on how to connect them. So it's connect them in parallel. E-matches, if you're using e-match, that's different, but for talons, do them in parallel. Baby Peach is ready for Halloween. Great, welcome in. Hello, Baby Peach. I'm glad you're ready for Halloween. Can you say hi to me? I can indeed. Welcome in. Hello, Baby Peach. I'm glad you're ready for Halloween. So where are we up to? Right, we've got those. Bambography for a 12 volt 32Q firing system from Wireless Fireworks. What would be the maximum number of talons for a single Q? Wireless Fireworks do, actually always Easy Pyro, there is a website that has a calculator on that allows you to calculate exactly how many talons you can fire from your firing system and your length of your wire. For a 12 volt system, you'd probably be able to get 6 talons on a Q, depending on how long your cable is to them. How many do you need to fire on a Q? That would be the next question. I tend not to ever put, I mean, my firing system is 24 volts, so it's got a bit more punch. And I don't go above 6 talons per Q if I can help it. For a 12 volt system, depending on how good the system is, you might get 12, you might only get 4 or 5. If in doubt, test them beforehand. The talons are not that expensive. Connect 5 or 6 together, or however many you need, and fire them and see if they all fire. So that would be my advice for that. Okay, how are we doing on this board? So we're getting there now. We've just got the front fountains. Let's see where our pole's up. Oh, we've gone back to 50-50 again. Oh, that's useful. 50% say red, 50% say blue. Okay, so if you've just joined us and wondering what's this poll about, on each of these plinths, there's going to be a coloured flame, a little flare. On this middle one, it's going to be yellow. Last night on the stream, you guys decided that you wanted purple on this one. We're now trying to decide, you guys get to have a bit of an input on my display here. You get to decide what colour flame is going to be on this plinth here. And the choices are red, blue or green. So have a little vote in the poll in the chat. And whichever one wins, it's neck and neck at the moment between red and blue. I'm going to put that on there. So I'll give you a few more minutes to do that. Whilst you do that, I'm going to put these little conic fountains on like that. Let me get a couple of brackets for those. They're only going to need 1 bracket each. They're only category F1 fireworks. They're quite small in size. Spectators technically only need to be 1 metre away from these. They are going to be further away than that, but let's have a look. Philip Atkinson says, brilliant, thanks for that. My system is probably the same as the MS32, yeah. Baby Peach says, hi, I'm new here, hello. Yeah, I say you probably, again, depending on the quality of your bell wire, you may be able to, you should at least get 20 metres. You may get 100 metres if your bell wire's decent and your firing system's decent. So if in doubt, try beforehand, experiment. Candy Mom says, Marco, I'm your favourite American. I voted blue, so I'm going to be the winner. Okay, well, let's see. It's neck and neck still at the moment. We shall see. But let's get these little brackets in for these ones. So that one's going to go there. That one's going to go like so. That's good. Let's move those out of the way. Let's get a couple of screws. It's very stormy, says Baby Peach. Yeah, so I was meant to be doing a pro display this evening at a primary school. That's been called off because the weather in the UK has been so bad. Very, very rainy, quite windy in places as well. So it's given me more time to do this. I wasn't planning on streaming this afternoon, but hey, I thought, why not? I've got more time now to work on my own display now that I'm not doing this one at the primary school this afternoon. So let's screw this one in here. That's good. And we'll put this one in over here. That's good. So blue's going on this side, red's going on this side. I'm going to tape those up, but before I do, again, because these are conic fountains, they're kind of sloping on the side, so I just need to just bend in these right angle brackets a little bit just to make a bit better contact with the body of the fountain. That's good on that one. Let's bend this one in a little bit as well. Don't need to go in much, a little bit more. That's pretty good, I'm happy with that. And then we will tape these up. Baby Peach says, how is Mrs. Great Marko and Naomi? Naomi is my daughter, for those who don't know. Yes, they're both doing very well, thank you. The bell wire is from Tool Station, the same as Pyro Pete used, but more than one opinion. Okay. Oh, your uncle. Oh, okay. And right, it's nice to put a name to the other name, if that makes sense. For those of you who don't know, that we have a forum here in the UK Firework Forum, where a lot of enthusiasts, pros, suppliers, importers, retailers all mingle and join in on conversation all year round about fireworks. And Philip Atkinson is one of the people in the forum, so it's nice to see you here. So thanks for joining me here this afternoon, Philip. I appreciate that. So yeah, the stuff from Tool Station should be good quality enough. You should be all right. Hoping the weather is calm on bonfire night. Yeah, we're still a couple of weeks away from bonfire night, so it's a bit too early to say what the weather's going to be like at the moment. Wind is the main one that can cause issues for fireworks. Rain, yeah, okay, rain's not great for spectators, but really you can fire fireworks in rain. It's not an issue if you waterproof your fireworks. Really not a problem. So as long as it's not windy, that's the main concern. So we'll do a little bit of tape along this one, like so. That's that nice and secure. And Kamara Brocade is here as well. Chris is here from the forums as well. Hello, Chris. Welcome back. Baby Peach missed the stream last night. It was quite a late stream. If you're in the UK, I don't think I started streaming to about 10:30 and streamed till nearly 2 a.m. I did 3 hours, 21 minutes or so of this. Normally, it doesn't take me quite this long to set up fireworks, but of course, I'm not usually streaming at the same time. So it's taken me a little bit longer, but hey, I don't mind. I'm enjoying your company, guys and girls. So there we go. Right, we're now going to put a strobe on as well. Let's get the strobe in. That just needs a single. These are really quite lightweight as well. They just need a single bracket. They don't need a massive amount of support. So we'll put this in there. And let's get a screw for that. Baby Peach says, I'm on 1 week half-term holiday. Yes, a lot of schools are on half-term this week. Some are on half-term next week. And we'll screw this one in here like so. That's good. Strobe's going to go up against there. I am going to have to just cut the tape that's holding the fuse down, because these have really, really long fuses on that go right down the side. So I don't want to tape over that, because of course I want to be able to access that. So Baby Peach is watching me in 4K. Wow, that's impressive, because I'm only streaming in 1080p. But hey, if you're watching me in 4K, if it's upscaled somewhere, even better. Bulletproof Mum says half term is next week. Yeah. Yeah, some schools have it this week, some have it next week. It's all good. So that fuse is now out of the way, so I can put that on there, get a bit of tape, and tape around it. Let's put this around here. Hold this strobe in place. Nice. Okay, right, we need to put the flame on here now. Where's the votes currently at? All the votes. Red is currently in the lead. Red has 55% of the votes. So it looks like it's going to be red then, guys. let's end the poll there then, before it goes back to 50-50. Okay, so 11 people have voted. Thank you if you voted. You've had an input in my display. And there'll be more chances to vote later on the other ones as well, or another time. Depends how much I get done today. So we're going for a red flame on this one. Let's find the red one. Hold it up to the camera to verify that it's red. So a little F1 flame. These look actually quite good. I've not seen these myself, but I've seen footage of them. They look pretty good. So Mammography says, oh, last minute change to red. Why was blue winning at one point? Okay, well, we're going for red. So red won in the end. So we'll do one more bracket on here, like so. Let's get a screw. And let's screw this one in here. That's good. And so we'll get our red flare. That's going to go there, and we'll get some tape on that. Candy Mum says, no, I clearly said blue. Well, there'll be more opportunity to decide where blue goes later on. So it will go somewhere, don't worry. Right, there we go. So that's everything on this board now and secured to this board. So the next thing to do is actually connect these up to the slats at the back, the firing system at the back. Baby Peach says this year has gone so fast. Yeah, it really has. I agree with that. Okay, so let's connect these things up. I need my plan now to work out what's going in where. So we'll start with the big Goldilocks fountain. That's going into number 8. So I'm going to remove the orange fuse protector from this, and I'm going to remove this tissue paper as well. I don't need that on. So it's not actually part of the fuse, so I'm not modifying the fuse in any way on that. I'm just making it more accessible for my Talon clip-on igniters. So let's get an igniter. These come in different lengths. These are 50cm ones, which are nice and short for the work I'm doing here, where the slat's really close, 50cm ones. You can also get them in 1 meter lengths, 2 meter lengths, 4 meter lengths. But these are just 50cm ones, which are kind of ideal for what I'm doing here. So I'm going to clip this as close as I can to the entry point where the fuse goes into the firework, like that. I'm then going to put a little bit of tape just along the back of this fountain just to hold this cable, this wire in position, because it's quite a tall fountain, this. So let's just tape that there, hold that in place. And so what I do, and somebody was asking this question earlier about crossfire and how you minimize that. You can never completely eliminate it when you've got fireworks this close together, but there are things you can do to kind of minimize the chance of one firework accidentally setting the other one off. So the way I do it is I use aluminium tape, good quality aluminium tape. It's got stickiness on one side and it's aluminium on the other. So I do it to protect this bit of fuse. You could cut this bit of fuse off. I tend not to. I tend to like to leave the fuse as it is. That way, if my firing system for whatever reason fails, I can still manually light this because it still has a full length fuse. If I was to cut that down, I wouldn't then ever be able to use this firework hand lit. It would always have to be electronically fired because there wouldn't be enough fuse to give you that delay to get safely away. So I just fold that bit of fuse down over the top, and I'm going to cut a little strip of this aluminium tape off. And then that's going to go over the top of this fountain. Now this fountain is powerful enough that it will actually burn through this aluminium foil. But the benefit, of course, is it's going to protect it from sparks from any adjacent fountains. That's the theory. Say it doesn't always work. Most of the time it does. But you know, cross ignition, it happens. It's not the end of the world. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So let's put that over the top like that. Stick it onto the fountain. This also helps keep the Talon nicely in position as well. So it protecting the exposed visco, so no exposed visco fuse. It's keeping the talon in place as well, and it's stopping stray sparks from other fountains nearby from igniting that. So really useful, the aluminium tape. And then we said this was going into number 8 on my slat here. So let's fold this over. And then we go into number 8 here. Okay, let's do the popcorn one next. So this has got a paper on the top. So paper ones on the top I will tend to skim off. That way I can put foil on the top instead, just to protect it, because paper really doesn't protect it from adjacent fireworks. Normally, if you're doing this at home, you don't need to do this. You can just peel this fuse cover back, light it, and away you go. That's absolutely fine. I am only doing this because of the proximity to other fireworks and to try to minimize cross ignition. So I'm just taking this rather attractive popcorn printed and paper top off this fountain, like so. There we go. I'll just get rid of that. Find the fuse, it's there. Find a talon. Clip the talon on. Like so. I'll probably put a little bit of tape on the back of this one as well, because it's quite a tall fountain. So just a little bit of tape to hold it in place. Like so. Let's see what number this is going to go in. This is going to go into number 10 on my slat. So let's get rid of that bit. And we put this into number 10 over here. Just need a little bit more slack on that. Let's just take tape off and do it more of a angle like that. That's good. Right, so this is going into number 10. I will test all these once I've assembled all these. I'll take these outside and test them. Not going to be today because it's raining. By testing them, I basically connect them all to my firing system, put my firing system in test mode, and it basically just checks the continuity on all these talons to check there's a complete circuit there. That way, if there are any that aren't, because sometimes you get talons and they're broken, or sometimes I've not potentially put them quite in the springs, quite right on the slat at the back. So that will identify those issues. I can fix those. The more of those I can fix before I go on site, the more time it will save me on the day. Of course, I will run those same checks on site as well when everything's set up, and you usually get some faults there as well. But the more I can kind of eliminate before I get to site, the better, really. Okay, so that was that one. Let's do It's Oh So Quiet, this one here. Talons are great. Before them, I used so now your nichrome wire through visco. Yes. Yeah, well, I used to before, you know, as a kid when I was, not saying messing with fireworks, kind of messed with fireworks, but I would, you know, I'd always experiment with how to light fireworks, and I would use fuse wire, like 5-amp fuse wire, and wrap that around visco and use that, and that kind of, it wasn't amazingly reliable, but it kind of did the job. But talons came along, and these are great. These are really nice and easy to use. And relatively reliable. I usually get a few each year that don't work, but most of the time they're good enough. Right, let's see what number this is going in. This is going into number 6. Yeah, I know there's discussion at the moment between talons versus E-match. I haven't actually got any E-match down here to show you. I'm using talons on all these. Some of the fireworks in this display will have E-match on. Most of them, though, are going to be talons. It's not a pyro musical, so it's not set to music, so I don't need that sort of split-second timing on it. I'm okay with a little bit of a delay, which is why I'm quite happy with talons. And also talons means I can set up a lot more in advance. I couldn't be doing, if I was e-matching these, I wouldn't be doing this inside here. I'd be doing that on site on the day. So this is safe to do. I can do this indoors. I can do it in advance. So that's using talons. So this is going into 6. So let's get that one in there. That one in there, that's in. Okay, so the top of this, I'm now going to foil the whole top of this. So in hindsight, I probably should get some wider stuff of this as well. This is 50mm width. You can get this aluminium foil or aluminum foil in 75mm widths and also 100mm widths. And that would be easy for going over the top. As it is, I'm going to have to do 2 strips of this, but that's okay. That's not a problem. I don't mind. So let's cut a couple of strips of this. Roughly the same length. And then this is going to go on top of this fountain. And again, this fountain is powerful enough that it will burn through this without any issue. In terms of waterproofing these fireworks, I do waterproof fireworks as well. For cakes and things like that, I tend to waterproof them individually. For things that are this close together, to wrap each one of these in cling film, sarin wrap, would be quite cumbersome and time consuming. You could just wrap the whole thing in cling film, sarin wrap. That's another way of doing it. I actually use some industrial strength refuse sacks, bin bags, garbage bags that are clear and see-through. I can just basically put one right over the top of here, leave it on site, and it's absolutely fine. If it's still raining during the display, it will actually fire through those, but for fountains I tend to take the bin bags off if I can. So let's get the other one. Another strip of this. Like so. Put that in there. And then put that over the top like that. So I've foiled the top of that fountain. That's good to go. Right, next up, let's do the thunder fountain. Thunder? That's a bit of a tongue twister. Thunder fountain. Baby Peach says, is it illegal to set off fireworks at 2 AM? Because I keep hearing fireworks at 2 AM. Yes, it is. Legally in the UK, you are only allowed to set off, well, this is in England and Wales this applies to. You can set off fireworks between the hours of 7 AM and 11 PM. So you can't do them after 11 PM at night. You can't do them before 7 AM in the morning. The only exceptions to that are bonfire night, where you can do them up until midnight. New Year's Eve, when you can do them up till 1 AM. There's a couple of other dates, so I think Chinese New Year, you can do it till midnight. Diwali as well, I think you can do it till midnight. But generally on a normal day, if somebody was to let off fireworks tonight, you can let them off any day of the year. It's absolutely legal to let off fireworks. You can let them off tonight if you want, as long as it's before 11 AM and 11 PM. Anything after 11 PM is technically illegal. So don't do it. Right, we're doing a thunder fountain. Right, I need to just expose the fuse a little bit because it's taped to the side of the fountain. There it is. Like so. And again, this is wrapped in this paper, tissue paper. So I'm going to try and see if I can get some of that off, just to allow me to get a little bit closer to the entry point on this fountain to be able to attach my talon igniter. So let's a bit fiddly to do. So say you might be thinking, what's the purpose of this tissue paper? It's basically just to keep the fuse in position. So it's not part of the fuse. It doesn't affect the performance of the fountain in any way by removing it. It's just to stop the fuse falling out, to keep it in one place. But the fuse is going to be kept in place because I'm going to put aluminium foil over the top and tape it down. So I'm not concerned about that. Let's get another talon. There we go. We clip it on. Let's see what number this is going into as well. This is going into number 9. Okay, so clip this on like so, squeeze it so it's nice and secure, and then this is going into number 9. Are your neighbours going to like your display on bonfire night? They usually do. I usually get around, if you watch my previous streams, I usually get a round of applause. The whole neighbourhood kind of applauds me, which is kind of quite surreal. But yeah, so they do tend to enjoy my displays on bonfire night. Of course, the display I'm doing in my back garden this year is actually going to be on the Saturday the 4th, because I'm doing a public display in Liverpool on bonfire night itself on the 5th, and that's what I'm prepping for at the moment. So yes, my live stream from my back garden will be on the 4th, Saturday the 4th, time TBC. I'm not quite decided what time I'm going to do. It'll be fairly early evening UK time, so early afternoon US time for all my followers in the US. And it's going to be a little bit different this time. I'm going to go a little special theme to it. So more information coming on that in the next in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. Right, that's that connected. A little bit of tape over the top of that to protect it. Mark Guitar says, if you're firing outside of the season, it's a good idea to post on your local Facebook to let pet owners know. I've had great feedback and thanks for doing this, and thanks doing this for my birthday in spring. Yeah, this is it. If you're firing outside of the season, yeah, it's always good to let your neighbours know. If I fire out a season, which doesn't happen a lot, but if I do let the immediate neighbours know. I tend not to post on the local Facebook group. There is a local Facebook group. You tend to get more grief on that if you mention fireworks than just about anything else. So, but I do let the immediate neighbours know that I'm doing it. But I say I don't do it out of season that often. You might have seen I've done a lot of filming recently of fireworks, a lot of filming of brand new fireworks that have just landed in the UK, new for this year. I've been the first to get my hands on them and first to fire them and get landed footage of them. I obviously don't do that in my back garden because I'd be firing fireworks kind of every few days. So I have a good relationship with a local farmer who allows me to go and use his land, and I fire it there. And it's a rural setting, so it's away from neighbours and it doesn't impact anyone. So, right, that's that one done. I've realised I didn't foil the top of the popcorn fountain, so let's do that now before we go any further. So this, I think, is going to need like 3 strips across the top. 1, 2, 3. The good thing about, I'm using a couple of T1 pyrotechnics, well, a few T1 pyrotechnics in this display as well. They're not technically fireworks, they're theatrical pyrotechnics. The good thing about those, they actually come with foil tops on, so you don't have to do all this foiling the top of the fireworks. So that saves a lot of time with those. But this is just going to help protect the top of this fountain from any stray sparks. There we go, that's good. Right, let's do the SOS fountain. So this is slightly different. This does actually have a foil top, and then it has a bit of polythene over the top as well. So it's kind of waterproof and flame-proof, which I really like. The only downside is there's an orange fuse cover, and you rip that off, it should expose the fuse. But on these ones, the fuse is actually underneath the polythene top. So you have to cut into the polythene top to actually get to the fuse, which kind of defeats the point of the polythene top, really. So anyway, let's extract this. Expose that fuse like so. And Mark says we do have a couple of people who obviously don't like fireworks, but they are very much in the minority. I let the grateful neighbours deal with them. Yeah, it does depend on where you live. Some people are okay with fireworks, some people don't like fireworks. You know, there are variations. You can't please everyone. Okay, let's see what number this fountain is going into. It's going into 7. So clip this on here, give it a little squeeze, and then this is going into 7. Which is here. That's good. Right, we've just got these 4 along the front to do now. So again, the fuses on these little conic fountains are taped down to the side, so I just need to release those like that. Let's come around and do this one here. There we go. Baby Pete says, when I was a baby, I was scared of fireworks. Yeah. Yeah, this is it. If you've never heard fireworks before and you don't know what they are, I can imagine, yeah, they can be quite scary. But then similarly, thunder can be scary as well for babies as well. So there are actually ways you can desensitize. If you've got a baby that is scared of fireworks, or a dog or a pet that's scared of fireworks, there are ways you can desensitize them. If you go on YouTube, there's loads of resources where you basically, there's a video that's like 10 hours of firework explosions, and you basically put that on your TV or your laptop or whatever, have it on quietly, and just slowly over time just increase the volume, and it gets the babies or the dogs or the pets or whatever kind of used to those sounds. So there are ways you can desensitize pets and babies and stuff, young children, to the sound of fireworks if they're scared of them. Right, let's see what numbers these ones are going in. The blue one is going into 5. So we shall clip this on here, like that, and then that's going to go into number 5 down here. One and 2. And then we need to put a bit of foil over the top of that one. I also didn't foil over the top of this one, so let's do this one first. Put a bit of foil over the top there. So this whole firework has foil over the top, so I don't need to do a lot. I'm just protecting the actual visco fuse itself and the actual towel and igniter just to hold it in place. I'll do another piece of this little blue one. So we'll bend the fuse down out of the way, and then we'll put this over the top and down the side like so. There we go. Right, let's do the strobe next. So the strobe, oh, not the red one, no, let's do the red one next. So put the towel on for this one. the red one is going into 4. So we'll clip this one on, getting as close as I can get it to the entry of the firework, give it a good squeeze closed, like so. This one's going into number 4. So there are going to be cakes in this display as well. It's not all fountains. There are cakes, there are going to be candles as well. I'll be setting those up on a stream well, over the next couple of weeks. Can't tell exactly when yet, because it'll see where I'm up to with other displays. But if you're not subscribed to my channel, do consider subscribing and enable notifications. Then when I do go live like this, kind of spontaneously, you guys will get notified. And as I say, over the next week or so, I'm going to be setting up some cakes, prepping some Roman candles as well. So lots to do still. There we go, there's that one. Let's get some foil tape over that. Philip says, when I was a kid, I was petrified of thunder and fireworks didn't bother me. Yeah, just introduced my 7-month-old granddaughter to fireworks on the telly and she's mesmerised. Yeah, I did some fireworks when last bonfire night when my daughter was just 1. She loves them. She loves them. We've been to some firework competitions as well. She really likes them. She can actually sleep through them. We went to fireworks this year, which is a big kind of fireworks showcase that happened a month or so back. And yeah, my daughter actually fell asleep during them, so she can sleep through anything. So they really don't bother her. Baby says it takes you 1 hour to eat a jacket potato with cheese. Yes, it does take me quite a while to eat jacket potato with cheese when I'm on stream and chatting to you guys as well. Mark says, neighbour's little one looked very cute in huge green industrial ear defenders. Yes, my daughter wears ear defenders as well for the fireworks. And that's another good idea. If you've got kids, young children that are really scared of the bangs, primarily with fireworks, get them some ear defenders. They're really cheap. They're great. They don't cut out all the sound. They just deaden it a bit, reduce the volume of the loud bangs and allows them to enjoy fireworks as well as everybody else. So yeah, that is a good tip. Ear defenders, really good idea. Right, let's move on to the strobe now. There's so much tissue paper on these strobes because the fuses on these little strobes do fall out so easily. So easily. So let's just get this. Good thing is the paper on these does pull out really easily. But I say if you're not careful, so does the fuse. There we go, the fuse has stayed in. I've got the tissue paper out, that's good. Let's get another towel on. And let's see what number this is going into. This is going into number 2. Okay, like this. Number 2. There we go, and we'll get some foil over the top of that as well. And then we've just got the flame to do on this board then, and then this board is pretty much done. I've still got a couple of single shots that I'm going to get on each of these boards. I think I've kind of worked out how I'm going to mount them now because they're going to be at an angle. But I'll kind of do that last thing really. So again, this is going to cover the very top of the fountain and cover the exposed visco and the talon. Keep it all nice together in one place. Minimise the movement, that's good. Right, so we're doing this, I think this was red, wasn't it? We decided on this one. So I have to be really careful with this because I pulled a fuse out of one of these yesterday while I'm trying to get the paper off. It's easy to do. This one looks like it's quite well in now, so that's good. So we get rid of all that. There we go, that's good. And one more talon. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. I'm guessing the public displays are cancelled again. Yeah, a lot of the council ones around the country have been cancelled again. They say it's due to budgetary reasons, which, yeah, may well be valid, but a lot of council displays have been cancelled again. What was interesting, because one of the arguments for having big organised council displays was that it was safer. It would stop people having fireworks in their back garden, and it'd be much safer. Actually, Manchester City Council have cancelled them all again this year, but they said there's no evidence, because they cancelled them last year, there's no evidence that actually cancelling these big public displays led to an increase in antisocial behaviour with fireworks. So I thought that was quite interesting. But yes, a lot of displays have been cancelled again this year. Let's have a look. What else are people saying? Any bonfire treats you have not tried? I've tried most bonfire treats. I can't think of a bonfire treat I've not tried. I do like treacle toffee, toffee apples, parkin, which is quite a northern thing. You might not have heard of that, but it's kind of like a treacle, kind of gingery kind of cake, which is really nice. Mark says, are those speaker stands or specialist ones? And these are just speaker stands. Lightweight speaker stands. There's no point going for the heavy duty ones because there's not a lot of weight on here. These are just normal speaker stands. They work really well. I used to actually, last year when I did the frontage of the displays, I had these boards just on these kind of, let me show you one. These garden stakes that you can pick from a DIY store. So I had these plinths on these, hammered these onto the ground and put the plinths on top. And they were okay, but there's a bit more weight on it this year with these big Goldilocks fountains and stuff. So I wanted to have them a bit more stability. So I've got these speaker stands. Say they're lightweight, you don't need heavy duty ones. And I will show you in a minute, once we finish this board, I'll show you the underside of this so you can see how it actually attaches to the speaker stands. So, Baby Peach says, I'm hoping I can make it for bonfire night. Yeah, so my stream will be the day before bonfire night on the Saturday. What am I doing? Oh, I don't need another one of these. I need to put some foil over the top of the red Bengal flame flare that we've decided is going on this board over here. There we go, that's good. And then that was connecting into number 3. Like that, and like that. Okay, so let's just have a little look at my... Yep, that's good. So that board is now pretty much done, apart from the single shots that I'm going to be adding on. Baby Peach says you've been going live for 2 hours. Yeah, that's nothing. Last night I went live for 3 hours and 21 minutes. Time just got away from me. But hey, I'm enjoying it. And as long as you guys are enjoying it as well, I will carry on streaming for a little bit longer. Philip says, can't beat a bit of parking, especially one with a bit of vanilla ice cream. Or, do you know what? I've never had parking with ice cream, but that does sound... I'm going to have to try that this year. Warned with ice cream. It sounds amazing. It does sound really, really good. Right, I said that board's kind of done for now. I'll show you the underside of this board so you can see how they are attached to the speaker stands. Let me just move this MacBook out of the way. Let's put that just down there for now. So let's unscrew this, and I will come and show this to the camera so you can see. So on the underside of these are speaker top hats. Not that expensive to buy. These just go straight on the top of the speaker stand and then they screw in and clamp down. And then these are actually screwed into the wood as well. So 2 bits of wood here. I've made a 30 centimetre by 30 centimetre board. A couple of battens across here to join those together, and this acts as a join as well. But these are how I attach them to the speaker stands. So it means I can transport this separately to the speaker stands on site, set up the speaker stands. This can then just go sit on top like so. And I realise I've got my back to the audience. How rude of me. I should come around this side. And then I can just tighten that up like that. And then of course I can raise this stand to whatever height I want. I've just got them at this height just to work on, but they do go up. I think they go up to about 1.82 meters. So they could maybe go to that kind of height. And then lock that in position. And in fact, it's even out of shot now. I've just realized that. Let's lower that down a touch. But you get the idea anyway. Let's bring that down a bit more. There we go. So really versatile. So it's worth spending a little bit on the speaker stands rather than just using bits of wood. A lot more stability in these. I've not got the tripods fully open here either. I've just got them quite narrow just so I can work on them all in this compact space. But when I get these on site, the tripods will be wide open, so they're really stable as well, which is really, really good. Let's put this down to a working height. There we go. Let's have a look at the chat. Of course, my MacBook is now all the way over here. Let's have a quick look at that. Baby Peach says, how about treacle toffee with strawberry ice cream? I'm not sure. Mark says, thanks for that. I have 4 stands for PA system, which we press into service. Yes, they are really useful to do. Really useful to use for fireworks. Relatively cheap to buy as well. I've got these are my original ones. These are air cushion ones that I've had for years. I've had these since I was about 14, 15, and I still use these in displays as well. Really useful, lightweight. Get the aluminium ones. You can get steel ones, but they weigh an absolute ton. Get the lightweight aluminium ones. You only need light duty ones. You don't need heavy duty ones. You can, of course, get heavy duty speaker stands that are designed for great big speakers that weigh, 50, 60 kilograms. These, I think the max weight on these lightweight ones, I think is 20 kilograms, but it's fine because there's nowhere near 20 kilograms of weight on top of these. So really useful, really versatile, really quick and easy to set up in the field as well. So yeah, do use them. They're good. Epcot Bob is here. Hello, Epcot Bob. Wow, that looks awesome, man. You're living the dream. Very cool. Yeah, so for anybody that's just joining, let's do a quick recap on what I'm doing. So in a couple of weeks' time, I'm doing a public firework display on Bonfire Night in Liverpool. I'm trying to do as much prep as I can before that to save me time on the day. So I've been setting up these fountain boards. Now on the display site that I'm using, space is quite limited. So I can't get 25 plus meters away from the spectators. So I can't use some of the really big fireworks. So I'm limited to smaller fireworks. So along the front of the display, I do some little fountains. So I've got these 5 fountain tables. They're not going to be this close together. This is just for me setting up. On the actual display site, these are going to be about 4.5, 5 meters apart. So it's going to be like a line of fountains all the way across the front. So over the stream that I did last night, the stream I'm doing again today, I'm setting these up, basically arranging the fireworks on here, securing them down, connecting them up to the firing system, making them safe from cross ignition and things. So that's basically kind of where we're up to. So, but it's nice to have you here, Epcot Bob. Thanks for joining and thanks for watching. So let's do this one now. So these two are slightly different. They have some of the same fireworks on, but not all the same. So let's see what we've got to go on these. So there is another one of these theatrical pyrotechnics. It's a T1 fountain, 40 seconds, gold to silver. It starts off gold, really lovely deep gold, then slowly transitions into silver. Really, really lovely fountain. There is a video of that as a short of that on my channel if you want to see what that looks like. So there's going to be one of those on there. There's going to be another popcorn fountain on there as well. Popcorn fountain looks like a box of popcorn. It's actually a firework. The effects are described as silver silk sparks and red sparks, silver flower sparks and yellow sparks, big dragon sparks. It lasts 40 seconds, goes to a height of about 2 meters. I've not seen this in person yet, but I've seen lots of different bits of footage of it. It looks pretty awesome. So that's going to go on there. What else have we got to go on here? We've got another little thunder fountain. This is 18 grams, category F2. It's like a crackling fountain, so there's going to be one of those on there. Then there is also going to be some more of these little red and blue fountains as well. Let me open this. These are Diamond JF21 fountains from Yorgi. There's 4 in a box, 2 red flame which transition into silver and 2 blue flame which transition into gold. They're only category 1, so technically spectators will need to be a metre away from these, but obviously my spectators are going to be significantly further away from that. So there's a blue one, and there's going to be a red one. There's also going to be a strobe on here. Little Yorgi strobe. It lasts 60 seconds. It's technically a fountain, but basically it just flashes and pulses bright white, really bright. And so there's going to be 5 of those, and 5 of those fired simultaneously are going to look quite good. And then there's going to be a coloured flare. We need to do another poll, people. Let me put a poll in the chat. Let me come around here to my MacBook, which is currently off screen. I realise that. So let's catch up on chat. Epcot Bob says, I love how you repurpose stuff for pyro. I love doing that kind of stuff, yeah. Skeed says hello. Skeed says 15 days until bonfire night. Philip says, did you used to collect bonfire wood with your friends and family on the lead up to bonfire night? We always did this and do it in turn to guard the fireworks from other firewood from other collectors. Yeah, we used to collect firewood for bonfires. These days don't really do bonfires anymore. Do fireworks, but don't really bother with bonfires, to be fair. Mark says, do you ever reverse the mount on the Catherine wheels to get them spinning the other way? I've tried it with 2 on the left going clockwise and 2 going there. It depends on the type of Catherine wheel, I'll be honest with you. These ones here, I don't think would look that good reversed. Basically, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, reversing a Catherine wheel means having one this way and basically having one the other way. So one will spin one way, one will spin the other way. And the idea is you can get effects going in the opposite directions. These particular ones, I don't know how well they would work. These tend to be like a ring of fire, a ring of colour, rather than throwing lots of sparks out. They do throw sparks out at one point, but they're not that really well defined. You've not got the kind of plumes, if you like. So I haven't done it with these particular Catherine wheels. I don't know how well it would look with these particular ones, but certainly, yeah, there are some Catherine wheels that it does look really good when you've got 2 Catherine wheels, one behind the other, both going in opposite directions. So I think we've caught up on the chat there. So let's do a poll. So start a poll. What colour flame should go on a plinth? A, B, C, we're doing D. And the options, what have we got left? I think we've got blue. I need to go and check because I can't remember what we used. We've got blue. I think is it blue and green we've got left? I don't even know where I put them now. They're over there. Yeah, we got blue or green. So let's put blue as the option and green in the option there. Right, so get voting, guys, and you get to have a bit of an input into my display. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, so along the front of each 5 of these, there's a little Bengal flame. Basically a little firework that basically just does a coloured flame. 5 different colours. I decided on a yellow one in the middle here. On the stream last night, you guys decided on having a purple one on this one. Then earlier today we decided on a red one here. So we are now deciding here whether this is going to be blue or whether it's going to be green. You guys get to decide and have a little bit of a design input into my display. So blue or green. So if you see the poll in the chat, cast your vote now and we'll see which one wins. At the moment, blue seems to be winning, but it's early days. Bulletproof Mum, tell you what we did as kids. Go round the morning after collecting or spent rockets. Yes, in the street and air bins in the park. Yeah, which is yeah. I used to. Do you know what? I used to love doing that. The day after bonfire night, when I was a school kid, on the walk to school the day after bonfire night, I would spot rocket sticks. It's really sad, but I'd look out for spent rocket sticks on the pavements and the roads and stuff and see how many I could find on my way to school. Happy times, happy times. Right, let me see what else we've got going on. Air bombs, yes, air bombs. So we've got... Right, yeah. So that's what's going on these ones at the moment. I do have some more fireworks coming that are not here yet. They've not arrived, that are going to go on B and D. But for now, this is kind of what we've got. So I can do those ones along the front. I can do these ones along the back. And then we will wait to put the other ones in the middle. So yes, we just need to decide whether we're going to have blue or green. Blue is currently winning with 71% of the votes. Whilst you guys are voting on that, I am going to start attaching these fireworks here. Using these, if you've just tuned in and wondering what I'm using to attach fireworks, I use these. They're little shelving brackets, zinc plated steel. These are like 50mm by 50mm. And they just go under my fireworks and keep them from moving, and I will then tape around them so they can't fall over. There's no danger of like a recoil from a fountain. But there is potential for it to fall over, which I obviously don't want. So using these will allow me to keep this fountain nice and secure in position. So that's kind of good there. So let's try and lift that out. There we go. Let's put that over there. And let's get some screws. And need to find where my screwdriver's gone. It's over here. See what's going on in the chat. Air bombs. Ski says I used to do the same as a kid. Used to go around collecting people's dead fireworks after bonfire night. Yeah. Okay, so these shelving brackets, you can technically use 2 screws on them. I just use 1. I'm going right into a knot in the wood again. Probably should have taken these fireworks off before I started that. Right, let's just see if that's still about right. That's going to go there. That one's going to go there. Okay. That's good. Great, so this popcorn fountain will now sit in there quite nicely. I might actually just move this one in a bit. Can go in a little bit more. That's good, so that will fit in there. That's nice and snug. That's good. And then we'll tape that up. Let me just check in on the chat. Let's have a look. Blue is still in the lead with 62% of the votes. Which one is D? Okay, yes, that's a very good question. Okay, so this plinth is A, B, C, D, and E. So it's this one. So this one's got a yellow flame on. This has got a red. That one over there's got purple. So it's a choice between green or blue on this one, and whichever one doesn't go on this one, he's going to go on that one. So you guys get to decide. Let's tape that one up. So I should move these out of the way, then you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So I've got 4 brackets on this. I'm then going to just tape around it with some of this gaffer tape, duct tape, readily available, really strong, useful stuff when it comes to fireworking. There we go. So that's now nice and secure on there. It's not going to fall off. Let's have a look. In the chat. Sorry, I really should try and get this on camera. Have I got another little, what can I put this on? You know what, I could probably put this on platform D, couldn't I, and just move all this stuff off, then at least I can still read chat without having to go off camera to look at my MacBook. So let's move these down there, let's put that there. Screws, scissors, tape and pyrotechnic. Right, there we go. I can see chat again now, that's good. Right, let's catch up then on the chat. Philip says, we as kids used to get the standard 3210 bangers and break them in half, pile up the powder and make a small trail. Well, that's we called it a genie. Yeah. Mevcog says, good idea. I've learned to never trust the base of a firework to hold in place. No, absolutely. I always put something underneath fireworks, especially cakes, which I'm going to do in another live stream over the next week or so. Cakes, I always put boards underneath. Because if you just put a cake on soft ground, the recoil can actually make the tubes kind of move into the ground, can snap the fuse, so it can make your firework not fully fire. It can also reduce the height of the effects as well, whereas if you've got a solid base, concrete or brick or whatever, or wood underneath, you're going to get a much better height on the effects and you're not going to risk the fuse breaking in between. Jack says, have you got a posh awl? I do have a posh awl. For those of you who don't know what an awl is, I do actually have one here. This is my posh awl. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but you can basically use that when you connect E-matches to fireworks, but I'm not going to show you that on stream. But yes, I do have a nice posh awl. Mark says he used to make black powder as a kid, wouldn't even think about it now. Yes, it's not legal, is it, to do that without a license? Jack says, surely there's a quicker way. A quicker way for what? I'm not sure, but ask again and I will answer. Bambography, I got to go, but thank you for the help and information. See you again soon. Listen, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And thanks for joining in my streams. I really do appreciate it. So, Jack says, I'm making one out of some nice wood. What is that, an awl? You're making a wood out of awl? Are you making an awl out of wood, rather? You need to make it out of brass, really, or it needs to be something that's non-sparking. Okay, so that's all I'll say on that. Yeah, they are bulletproof. Mum says, yeah, brass. If you know, you know. Yeah, it needs to be brass. And I won't go into the reasons why, but it needs to be something that's non-sparking. Okay, so where are we up to? Right, we've got this fountain on the board. We're going to put in the T1 gold to silver fountain here as well. So let's just release the cable from this. So yeah, some of these things, there's like 3 fountains, some of them there's 5, so there's like 5 popcorn fountains, there's 5 of these lovely T1s, there's 5 strobes, there's 5 coloured flames, there's 5 of the little blue cones and 5 of the little red cones, 5 of the thunders, 5 Catherine wheels, although the one in the middle is bigger and different. So there's going to be quite a lot going on on these fountain tables throughout the display. I say my display is probably going to last somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. I aim for about 12-13 minutes, and that seems to be a good duration. Anything longer than that, and the audience do tend to can lose interest, and especially if the weather's bad. They don't want to be standing outside for 20 minutes if it's throwing it down with rain, but for 10 minutes they can probably do that. So it's less about the duration of the show, it's more about the quality of the show, in my opinion. Right, let's get this on here. So I need a screw. These are now down here. And a screwdriver. Let's move that out of the way. Jack says, yeah, brass with a wooden handle. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Okay, so that's that one. Get this in place like that, and we'll tape it up with some tape. Like so. And that just keeps that fountain, stops that from falling over or reduces its movement, so that's good. And we've got a titanium thunder one, which I think I'm going to probably put this one at the back and leave some room in the middle for, I say I've got some more fountains on order, which we're going to go on B and D, these two. But for now, I think we'll do this one at the back. So again, I'm going to break off this. Let me come around and show you. These little fountains are really good. I like that they're compact, but because they're so compact, they won't really stand up on their own. So they have this little cardboard disc on the bottom to give them some stability, so you can stand it on a flat surface and they'll stay upright. Other fountains will have like a fountain like this inside a big box. So you get a big bulky fountain actually inside. There's just one of these. So I do prefer these, but this bit gets a little bit in the way for the way I want to mount it. So these are just glued on. So I just pull these off. So you're not actually modifying the firework itself. The firework is still in one piece. I haven't done anything to the firework. All I've done is taken this little plastic cardboard disc off the base, and so this is then ready to go on here. Let's get another bracket, and there we go. Let's get another screw like so. And again, for the ones where I'm just doing one bracket like this, the bracket goes the audience side, so the bracket at the front, the firework behind. And the reason we do that is if, basically to stop this from fall, this cannot then fall forward. It might fall backwards, it might fall left and right, but there's absolutely no way it can fall forwards towards the audience if we put the bracket in front of it. So that's the plan here. So we can put that in like so. Let's get my screwdriver again. Put a screw in here. And the good thing about these, I can reuse these boards next year. I used them last year. I can change the configuration. I can just unscrew all these little brackets, put them in a different configuration for next year's fireworks. So it's reusable. I can reuse it year after year. Really versatile. So that's that one. Let's get that one taped in there as well. Actually, let's bend that up a little bit more vertically. That's better. Okay, where did I put my gaffer tape now? Oh, there it is. Right in front of me. Okay, so we put this around this fountain like so. it round nice and tight, and then that's in position there. Blue on the vote is now still in the lead. Well, 67%. It's extended its lead a little bit. So 67% of people are suggesting the blue flame on this one. So if you're just joining us and wondering what we're talking about, each one of these boards is going to have a coloured flame on it. 5 different colours. We've already decided the colours on 3 of them. So you get to choose whether we have a green flame or a blue flame on this plinth here. And at the moment, blue is in the lead. But if you want to vote, if you want to change that, there's still time to change that. Go and vote in the poll in the chat right now. Okay, let's get the little conic fountains on. So I'm going to need a few more brackets. I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, I'm going to need 4 brackets in total there. And I'm going to need 4 more screws. There's a few left in this box before I need to open a new box. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good, right. I'm going to need my screwdriver as well. Let's come round. Let's see if we might need to go around the front to do this. So I realise I'm blocking the view again. not ideal, I know. Right, what did I do with there they are. So blue one's going to go there, red one's going to go there. Bracket at the front again, so it's going to go like that. Blue one's going to go like that. Let's screw them in. So say apologies for blocking the view. I shall move out of the way in a minute once these are in. I'll put one in for the strobe as well, because there's going to be a strobe on here. And then there's also going to be the flame once we decide what colour flame is going on here, which we shall decide in a few moments' time. So still time to cast your vote if you've not voted already in the poll that's currently in the chat. And then this one here. There we go. Right. Rusty Trumpet says, so easy to spend a lot on pyro. Yes, it very much is. I say when I design this show, I start designing this show back in like August, and I go through retailers' websites and see what kind of products they've got, watch loads of product videos, see what's new this year and things like that. Make a big long spreadsheet of all the things in an ideal world I'd like in a display. I then have to do a lot of editing to get that down to something that's kind of close to budget. That's always the biggest challenge, because I always go initially way over budget and always have to bring it right back down. So that's always a challenge. It's going to go there. Right, I think we're going to stop this poll then in a minute. Let's see. Oh, blue has got 70% of the votes. So 7 out of 10, because there's been 10 votes, 7 out of 10 people say the blue fountain on here. So it's going to go red, blue, yellow, green and purple. So we're going to end the poll then now. So thanks everybody who voted. Thanks for having a little bit of an input into the design of my show. So we're going for blue on this one. These out of the way. Right, so again, I'm just going to bend. These are 90-degree right angle brackets. Obviously these fountains are not straight, so I'm just going to bend this one in a little bit. These are only steel, so they do actually bend. Bend those two in a little bit, just so they can sit a little bit more flush with these cones. That needs to go in a little bit more. That's good. Yep, so we'll take those to the board. So we go around the bracket. then around the cone, and that will just keep it all in situ, stop it from moving around, falling over. There we go, that's that one done. Let's do the red one on this side. So these little fountains, if you're just joining us, little category F1 fountains, so they're not very powerful, but they have a nice little flame. So the blue ones start off with a blue flame and then transition into a gold fountain. The red ones start with a red flame and transition into a silver fountain. So the good thing about these fountains is they're not expensive. These ones are quite cheap. And again, if you use them in quantities along a display, they can actually look good. And that's really what I have to do, because to say this display, I am limited on space. So I can't use any category 3 fireworks in it. Everything has to be category F2. I don't use anything over 25mm diameter tubes as well in the cakes. So no 30mm diameter cakes. So I am limited, but you can still do a good display just with Cat 2 stuff if you do it kind of in quantity. So, you know, one little flare on its own is not going to look great. When you've got 5 of them going off simultaneously along the front of the display, it's going to look all right. So, right, I just need to take this fuse is taped to the side of these strobes. So obviously when I tape around them, it's going to tape over that, which I don't want. So I just need to release this fuse like that so that I can then tape round that fountain without taping the fuse down. So a little bit of tape. And that's going to go around the fountain, the strobe, like so. And then we got the flame to do. Let's have a look what's going on in the chat as well. Jack says he budgeted 600 but spent 1,000. Yeah, it's very easy to do. Rusty's in Manchester. Yeah, well, I'm in Manchester as well. Rusty said I spent like 700 quid one year. I know others who spend a lot more. Yes. How much will you be spending for? Yes. So it is very, fireworks are not cheap. They're not cheap. Mark says I have a very understanding wife. Usually aim 12 kilogram NEC in 8 minutes. Neighbours all watch and cheer. Yeah, in fact, actually, that was a question. Somebody asked me a question on what the NEC was on this show last night, and I hadn't worked it out by then. I reckon it's going to be in the region of about 10, 11 kilograms, which, you know, for all category F2 stuff, well, there's some category F1 and T1 in here, but with no F3 stuff, you know what, that's 10 kilograms of Cat 2 is not bad. So there's quite a lot in this show. So let's get this blue fountain on here. Like so. So to say, I do have a couple more fountains that are going to go on here, but I don't actually physically have those yet. So this board is kind of, everything's attached to it that can be attached at the moment. Rob Fuzzy's here. Hello, Rob. Welcome in. Thanks for watching. For anybody else who's just watching, just tuning in, what am I doing? So in a couple of weeks' time, I'm doing a firework display, a public firework display in Liverpool for bonfire night. I'm doing as much prep as I can beforehand, which is what I'm doing now. Space is quite limited on the site that I fire at, so I do quite a lot of stuff closer up. They're fountains, basically. So these are fountain tables. There's 5 of them. They're going to be spread out like 4 or 5 meters apart across the front of the display. So I'm setting up and pre-wiring as much of this as I can safely now beforehand to save me time on the day. So that's what I'm doing. So thanks for being here, Rob. Mark's saying, what's your finale going to be? So I like to kind of tweak my finale, do a slightly different finale each year. This year, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to tell you. You have to wait for the video, but it's going to be a bit different to what I normally do. So the finale is going to involve some of the stuff on here. That's all I will say. But there's going to be other stuff going off as well. So I say I've got the design of the show in my head. I haven't programmed it yet, so I'm still working on the finale. But I've got a good idea of what it's going to be. So watch this space. Right. So let's release the fuses on these, and we can get these connected up to the slat on the back of here. So let's get that one off. Let's get this one off. Let's get that one off there. That's good. So I'm just going to remove the tissue paper from these fuses. The tissue paper is just to hold the fuse in one place, stop it falling out, but I'm going to be taping over the top of these once I attach the Talon igniters, and so I'm not concerned really about the fuse staying in place, because it will stay in place once I get the tape on it. So we take that off. That came off nice and easily on that one. Let's bend the fuse up on that. That's good. And that one, let's get the paper off. There's always loads of paper on these little strobes. I say the fuses do fall out of these strobes so easily. That's probably why they've got so much tissue paper on them, but I'm going to try and do this carefully and see what we can, see if we can get this all off. So again, this doesn't change. You don't need to do this to fire your fireworks in your garden. You can light them with this paper on. I am just doing this so that I can get the Talon igniter closer to the entry point of the firework where the fuse goes in, rather than lighting it at the very end. And the reason I do that is just so the firework will ignite quicker, rather than waiting 7 or 8 seconds or whatever from when I fire it to when it actually goes off. So, and then we need to do the same as well with this blue flame that you guys have decided is going on this board. These are really quite tricky to get off on this one because they are wrapped around so tightly, and I really don't want to pull the fuse out like I did on the purple one last night on the stream. Managed to get it back in. It's fine. It will fire. I'm not overly concerned. They're just a bit, you know, not very well secured and attached. So let's get this paper off here. There we go. Fantastic. Rob says hashtag no spoilers. Yes, that's right. I don't want to give away my finale now. It'll spoil it. But you might get some hints. As I say, I'm going to do a few more of these streams over the next couple of weeks. I've got to get some cakes prepped and some candles prepped and various other bits. So there'll be more streams like this with some handy hints and tips and how I do things and things. So you might be able to kind of guess what the finale is, maybe from some of that. We'll see. Rob says, please hit the like button. Yes, if you've not hit the like, do you know what? I've not hit the like yet. I'm going to hit the like button right now. There we go. So I'm like number 19. Rob was number 18. Thank you for that, Rob. I assume we will have a New Year show from you. Yes, there is a plan to do a New Year show again from my back garden, letting off fireworks at midnight, and I will try and do them at midnight this year. A couple of years ago, I pressed the button about 52 seconds too early by mistake, but hey, it's all good fun. So yeah, so there will be a stream on Saturday, the 4th of November, the day before Bonfire Night. I'm going to do a stream from my back garden. On Bonfire Night itself, I'm doing this display in Liverpool, and then the footage will be on my channel a few days after that. And then New Year's Eve, yes, I will do another live stream from my back garden as well. Right, let's get some Talons on these. So, oh, and I need to actually take the paper off the top of the popcorn fountain as well. Let's just do that. So again, some fountains come with paper on the top, and that's absolutely fine. No problem with that at all. But I'm trying to minimize cross ignition, so I'm trying to minimize one fountain from accidentally setting off an adjacent fountain. So to do that, I don't want to have paper on the top of the fountains because embers will just burn through that. Instead, I'm going to put foil on the top. So I'm taking the paper off this firework like so. There we go. And I'll put some foil on the top of that once I've put a Talon on it, which let's do that one first, in fact. So let's put that on here. Clip it on, give it a little squeeze, and then let's work out what number this is going into. This will be going into 10. So let's put this into number 10, fold the wires over because they're very long, and we'll put this into number 10. Like so, and I'll put a little bit of tape on the back of that just to keep that cable from getting caught or snagged on anything when I transport it. like so. Let's do the titanium thunder fountain, which is going into 9. So we'll clip this on like so, give it a little squeeze. This is going into number 9. Like so. I'm going to foil the top of it. I'm going to get them all connected up first, then foil them. Let's get some more talons. The blue one, I think from memory, goes into 6. No, blue one goes into 5. Okay. So the blue fountain is going to go into number 5. Like that, which means the red one, I guess, is going into number 4. Mark says I've got to go now. It's been really relaxing watching another pyro, being really organised and shooting the breeze. See you on the next one. Thanks for being here, Mark. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Not sure if you've mentioned if it's musical or not. No, this display isn't a pyro musical. If it was a pyro musical, I probably wouldn't be using talons. I'd be using E-match to get instant ignition on things. But no, there's no music to this, so that takes a bit of the pressure off. Rusty Trumpet's got to go as well. Thanks for being here, Rusty. I appreciate that. Friendly Neighbourhood Pyroman says bye as well. So bye if you've got to go as well. I know a few people have got to go. To be fair, I've got to go in a little while as well and pick my daughter up. So I'm not going to be streaming for much longer, but I'm going to try and get this fountain table finished before I do. So I was going to check if this goes into 4, and it does go into 4. So we will clip this on like so. Give it a squeeze, and then this is going to go into number 4 on the slat on the back of this little table that I've built. So let's go in like that and like that. Right. Nearly there. We got 2 more to do. So the strobe goes into, I think it's 2. Strobe is going into 2. So we clip on the talon as close as I can get it to the firework. And then this is going to go into number 2. Like so. And then last but not least, we've got the viewer's choice coloured flare, the blue flare, blue flame. Let's have a look. Are you using WPS? Yes, I am using WPS. I like the idea of fountain stands, using a long bit of wood myself this year, but might change it. Yeah, fountain stands are great. If you've got an audience, if you do fountains on the floor or low down, the front row of the audience are going to see it, but 2 or 3 rows back, they're not going to see anything. Whereas if you elevate them on stands, speaker stands are great because you can adjust the height, brilliant, really nice and stable, and that's the way to do it. So yeah, I used wooden posts last year with these tops on them. I've changed the wooden post this year for speaker stands. I'm really glad I did. And then this one's going to go into number 3. Like so. And like that. So all I need to do now is just foil the tops of these. And where did I put my foil tape? Here it is. So do the top of the thunder fountain first. I need a little piece of tape for this. So this is to stop or to minimise the chance of cross-ignition between adjacent fountains. So by putting a bit of tape over the top, it stops any stray sparks landing inside the fountain, landing on the visco fuse, and it also helps keep the talon igniter in place so it doesn't waggle around. So that's that one. Let's do the strobe at the front and the flame at the front. Let's cut a few of these. So which one should we do first? Let's do this little volcano here, little conic fountain. So over the top. There we go. And these fountains are powerful enough that they will burn through this aluminium tape, but little hot embers that fall in here are not really going to burn through, but the fountain will be able to penetrate and go through this without too much of a problem. For those just joining as well who are wondering, how do I waterproof these fireworks? Do I waterproof them? Yeah, I do. When fireworks are this close together on these tables, I've got big industrial refuse sacks, garbage bags, bin bags, whatever you call them, clear see-through ones, but they're really thick, heavy duty, so they don't tear easily. And I can literally just, 100 litres, I think they are, so they're really big, just plonk one over the top of each one of these, job done. So they work really quite well. Again, you can get those from Amazon, hardware stores, wherever. That one. Let's do the strobe. There we go, nice. And then the blue flame to gold little cone fountain at the front, on my left, on your right. Bend the fuse down. There we go, stick it to the fountain. Nice, so now I just need to do the top of the popcorn one, which I think needs about 3 layers of this. You can get different thicknesses, widths of this rather. This is 50mm, you can get 75 and 100mm. In hindsight, I could probably have done with 100mm to cover the top of these in one complete go, but I'm just going to do a few strips of this instead and it'll be fine. Friendly neighbourhood pyroman, how far apart are you putting these stands? Are they all going to be set at the same height? So they're going to be about 4.5, 5 metres apart, so it's going to give like a 20-metre frontage. Are they all going to be at the same height? Do you know what? I've actually been toying with that idea. Now that I've got speaker stands, I can adjust the heights. I was thinking initially of doing them all the same height. I have also been toying about doing them more like a triangle, so the one in the middle is kind of higher than the outer ones. I don't know, it might work quite well because again the middle one's got this bigger Catherine wheel on compared to the others, so that might work. I don't know, I'm undecided yet whether I'm going to do it like a triangle, so this one's higher and it goes down and down, or whether they're all going to be the same height. Not sure yet, haven't decided. Traditionally they'd normally all be at the same height, but I might mix it up a bit. We'll see. Haven't quite decided yet. So let's do a strip of this across there. Philip says, I've got to go now. Stay safe, everyone. Fantastic information vlog. Great Marko. Thanks for the information regarding the information I wanted. You're very welcome, Philip. Thanks for being here. Safe bonfire night, everyone. Yes, and I echo those sentiments. Totally. Stay safe, everybody. I say we're going to be finishing the stream shortly anyway, because I need to go and pick my daughter up from her childcare. But I've got quite a lot done. We've been streaming again. How long have we been streaming for? Nearly 3 hours or so again. But the fountain tables are nearly done now, pretty much. I've just got that one to do, but I'll do that another time. And I've got the single shots to put on and a few more. So actually, there's still a little bit more to do. But, but I will be streaming again over the next week or two. With more prep. I've got some cakes to prep, I've got some candles to prep, various bits and bobs to prep for this display, so I will stream that again and show you some tips and tricks for those and answer any questions you guys might have on that as well. So last piece of tape here. There we go, that's good. So there we go, I'm pleased with all that. So yeah, I've just got another one of these to copy over here, and that of course is going to have the green flare on, because you decided where the other ones are going to go, so the green one's going to be there. Other than that, it's going to be exactly the same as that. So I do have some more fountains to come and to go on those two. I've got some single shots to attach to these boards as well, which I think I've worked out how I'm going to do now, because they're going to be at an angle shooting out, and the crackling comets, which will be quite nice. So, but for the most part, these fountain boards now are pretty much there. So I am going to wrap this up now, because it has been 3 hours. My voice is starting to go again because I've been talking continually for 3 hours as well, which I don't usually do. But thanks everybody for watching. There's 8 people still watching now. I don't know how many people were watching at its peak, but I appreciate everybody being here, even if you just dropped in for 5-10 minutes, or whether you've been here for the whole 3 hours. Thank you so much for your company. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been entertaining, perhaps informative and educational as well. And I say, do subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and do enable the notifications. That way, when I do more of these live streams, you'll get notified, because I don't know when I'm going to do the next one. It'll be at some point over the next couple of weeks. Who knows when? But if you subscribe and enable notifications, then you will be informed when I do that. So thanks everybody for watching. I say I'm going to wrap this up now. Really appreciate your company, and stay safe, and I'll see you very soon on the next live stream. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.